All right. We are live on PostGame Live. Welcome, everyone. I am back. Ben, the original, the OG master of PostGame Live. Paul is officially around, but not officially around. So I'll get him on shortly. I'll get him on very soon. He did insist that he come on nice and early because he's got the kids in bed and he needs to get back inside and look after them. Wife is away this weekend. But welcome to PostGame Live after the Cats had a massive 41-point win interstate against one of the premiership favourites, the two-time premier in Brisbane Lions, and a bit of payback for the grand final of 2025. And yes, I did make a last-minute tweak to the thumbnail for PostGame Live. So if you've clicked this link, I deliberately changed it at the last minute. I didn't want to do the thing where I stuff up and go a little bit too early with something like that. But a massive win of the Cats. The scores were Brisbane 11 goals, 10-76, and the Cats 17 goals, 15, 117. We'll get to a lot of things tonight. There's a lot to talk about in this one, and I'll get Paul on in a sec, but a lot of things to talk about. And I'm sure everyone will want to talk about Shorty Manor. I'm sure everyone will want to talk about Bailey Smith and Tom Stewart. I reckon we'll probably get a mention as well for a few intercept marks. And just the general smashing of Brisbane. And doesn't it feel good? And did someone take out Cam Rayner? I saw blood on Cam Rayner's face. Hopefully someone did that. But let's get the man himself on. Let me get rid of my graphic. Here he is. Paul's on the... Welcome back, Paul.
Hey, mate. How's things?
Mate, I am on 15 minutes sleep, as you know, but I'm going to push through tonight as long as I'm able to. But I'm absolutely buoyed at the moment after one of those Cats wins that I did not think we were going to get this one done. I must admit, I did not believe in it. But now I'm looking at that ladder. I'm thinking, oh, goodness me, Geelong is a top 4 team yet again.
Yeah, it's back on, I guess. And I spoke about it a little bit during the Paul James show the other night when I was doing my predictions and all that. And I was feeling the direction we were going in, especially with that forward handball and what we saw the previous week. My only concern was, all right, we've delivered it and executed once, but I don't think that's enough of a pool of evidence, I suppose. Only Carlton, the only thing more impressive than Geelong is Paul James's camera quality. And I'm not even in my studio. This is my shitty work laptop camera at the moment. So
the kids might just turn up behind you at some stage.
They'll be coming from in front of me. All the doors to me are facing this way. So I've got a line of sight if I happen to drop an expletive and they're in my vision. But anyway, where were we? I got distracted by high quality cameras and
camera quality. Apparently, that's what we're here to talk about tonight.
Yeah. That's right. No, I just didn't think that the pool of the sample size was big enough yet for me to confidently sit back and go, okay, we can replicate that against a genuine top team, let alone that team being Brisbane. But we executed it wonderfully. And I guess one of the things that I discussed more flippantly, it was more of a casual thought in conversation with everyone throughout the show last night, was, Geelong's ability to switch between game plans and, whether we can go the forward handball versus our, 45-degree kicking game. And it felt like we alternated and kind of utilized both at various different stages throughout the game. Even in that second quarter, when obviously, the scores got a bit tighter, I wasn't overly concerned by Geelong's game. I think it was skill execution errors that were a bit of a flaw. I did see you in particular wanting to rip Tanner Bruin's head off.
Yeah.
And a bit like last week, he had one. Well, actually, I'd have to double check the numbers to be sure. But like in that second quarter, it feels like was the quarter where he really butchered and hacked it. A bit like last week, he had one horrific quarter where he just couldn't hit a target, and it was good for the rest of the game. I'll have to double check that one to see if that was the case again today. Certainly, the second was bad, but I don't know. He probably just needs a week off at some point just to rest. Not any sort of. We're not talking about him, I think, in the same way that people will talk about James Warple. Oh. I just think he needs a bit of a rest. He's done a lot off the back of no football for a season, and he's kind of carried us when everyone else was struggling. The best thing is that he's still finding the ball with ease. 29 disposals tonight. He was really, really busy. He crashed those contests. Like he was still really, really physical and won the ball for us.
Yep.
So I was pretty happy with his output regardless. But
it's execution. It's just execution. And I think with Tanner is we get, and I said this to Beck, my partner, I said, it's 20 minutes of football that he has every now and then. It's just the worst 20 minutes of football that you could watch. But then the rest of the game, it's totally fine. It's probably B level. It's more than acceptable for a best 23 player. But goodness me,
I'll tell you what.
20
I'll
minutes.
tell you what, and look, it's just one data point, and of course, I think we can compare that with the nature of the errors. But statistically speaking, the second quarter, when many of us were jumping on the turnovers, that was his highest disposal efficiency for the game in the second at 71% for that quarter.
There you go.
So go figure. His worst was actually the final quarter. But I think the errors that he made were significant ones, or a fumble which didn't necessarily. This is just my work shirt, mate.
Can you pop it? Pop. Hang on, you got too many buttons. There's too many buttons done up at the moment.
Sorry, no. I'm not going to.
You've got the hairy arms. Have you got the hairy chest as well?
I'm not going to go all Lucas on us here and suddenly be shirtless. So,
well, that is post. For anyone who's new to Post Game Live, it is the show where we get shirtless.
In fact, all of this has now convinced me to just do the top button back up again.
Nipples after midnight, everyone. If you're familiar with Post Game Live, hello, Roman Craig. Welcome to the chat. Horatio's in the chat.
Post Game Live after dark.
Is Paul in a hotel? Paul is not in a hotel.
No, I'm in my. This is my living room. Hang on, Horatio. Let's give Horatio the tour because we talk about his blinds and curtains all the time. This is my shitty state. In my living room. Everything up top is fantastic. I've got a nice little chandelier thing here, but then the blinds are pretty dilapidated. They need a bit of love. Anyway, that's enough blind conversation.
Refused Tam is just in the chat poll. Suggested that Stewart may have pinged a hamstring in the last minute of that game. So
yeah, it did seem kind of wandering off there, but it didn't look like he was under significant duress. Might have pulled up a bit lame, a bit sore, and he just looked at the scoreboard and goes, "There's no point being out here." So
I didn't do a tipping show this week, but I should have called the show.
Sorry, Scotty. It is kind of like a chandelier thing. Most of the little attachments on it are plastic. Don't get me wrong, and it came that way when we bought it. So
stick around till later. Paul gives the full tour of the house, including the kitchen drawers. That'll be exciting. But can we talk about Sean Manor, because that's why everyone's tuned in, and we all just want to talk about Shawnee Manor and what a performance that was. One for the ages, a 30-5. That's Gary Ablett senior territory, Paul.
That is pretty incredible stuff. And flashback to 3 weeks ago when we were starting to get pretty frustrated and wondering if maybe he just needed a spell in the seconds just to regain his touch. Again, not a similar thing, not because we felt he wasn't up to the level, but he just needed to go and find some form. But all of a sudden, he's good to go again. So,
yeah, I was a bit worried about Manor a few weeks.
Oh, there we go. So Foxy's just said just a corky that he's in terms of Tom Stewart. So
that's good. Jack Martin was probably the bigger worry, even though
What happened to him? I missed that.
Potential calf issue. So they said they hadn't strapped him up or iced him or anything. They were just treating it. I guess they decided they were 6 goals in front and they probably didn't really need to risk it too much.
With a 5-man bench, no real reason.
Yeah, exactly. So
go on, sorry.
I was going to say, I'm not rocking curtains tonight. You may have noticed my room is looking pretty sparse at the minute. So we're sort of painting not the podcast studio. I am in the podcast studio, but I do live in a house. So we are painting the house. And this is one of the rooms that's coming up next. So we just got to clear everything out. I dragged the picture, the frame back in the room just for tonight because I thought you've got to have some content on the show.
Exactly.
But, Jack Martin.
Also, I'm seeing Spartacus in there. Just a bit of extra love for you, Spartacus. I know, I won't put you on blast here in the call, but obviously you've been talking about a few things in the Discord today. Just wishing you all the best, mate. Hopefully you're doing well.
Yep, completely agree with that. All our thoughts with you, Spartacus. Look, where do you think this sets Geelong up? Do we get carried away with these wins?
Yes.
I kind of want to get carried away a little bit, and I want to enjoy it, and I want to savour this one, Paul. But it's one win. It's still 4 points. It's worth just as much as probably beating up on Carlton in a couple of weeks' time. But it's Brisbane.
No, we'll find a way to lose that one.
We'll find a way to lose that one. I'm completely with you there. But it's potential that we'll lose that one. Yeah, I think this is an important one because this is a battle for a top 4 spot, and I don't think we're a top 2 team. I could clip this one because I might look stupid at the end of the year, but we definitely are a chance. Carlton has been mentioned. Carlton. Hopefully the algorithm is sending
all of a sudden Michael Voss is in our room and
yep. All the Carlton YouTubers out there, they're getting the notification. The algorithm's working, so we've said Carlton Blues.
Well, we said Carlton a few times, and all of a sudden Ethan appeared, so it didn't quite have the intended effect. It's good to have him, but it's not quite the expected result.
Anyway, what did you think, mate? Because I know you're only making a quick cameo, but I'll hand it back to you.
No, I mean, look, it was really impressive to see that, and it was the big point of concern for me, and why I ultimately tipped Brisbane was I thought, okay, this is a really good sign what we're going with forward handball, but I don't know if that's necessarily going to translate, or we're going to be able to replicate it to the same or an even greater level against arguably the best team in the competition. And yet that's exactly what they did. They upped the ante significantly in that second quarter. Obviously, yeah, we're starting to talk about that, and I got derailed by talking about Tanner Bruin and his kind of hacking of the ball during the second. But I was pretty thrilled with how that came together and the way we managed to execute it reliably. Even in the second, it was just a few critical errors as opposed to a flaw in the fundamental plan. And Brisbane kicked particularly well in front of the sticks. We didn't. It kind of made it look like the second was a little bit worse than what I think it actually was. They certainly got their tails up a little bit, but they kicked a few freakish goals from the boundary consecutively, which helped too. So I wasn't overly shaken by that. Outside of the fact that, okay, if they get the tails up, all of a sudden maybe they get a little bit of connection going themselves. No, I was happy with the plan came together nicely. I can't really think of any kind of weak links for Geelong on the night. Everyone kind of stood up and did their role. Even Jack Henry, who, if you look at his stat line, you go, 5 disposals. And not that we ever expect him to get a lot of it, of course, because typically he plays that key back role. But the way he sacrificed his game to take Harris Andrews away from it and leave, the likes of Ryan Lester and co exposed on someone like Jeremy Cameron or Shannon Neal was incredible. And we know he's got the chops up there. He's proven it. We all have a certain goal against Richmond in mind when we think of Jack Henry.
Yep, we do.
In the forward line. So, I just props to the coaching team. And it also probably meant that, we could protect Jack a little bit. He's clearly still not 100% upon his return. Probably needs a little bit of confidence because he has been taken to the cleaners once or twice this year as well. So just go up there, not necessarily have to play a significant role, but just, in terms of his own direct output, but really play an important sacrificial role for the benefit of the team. And it unlocked the two big key forwards, but, Danger was getting around as well. Obviously, Shawnee Manor with his 5 goals. It was huge. I think he played a really important role there. It was massive props to him because he has been a bit of a whipping boy for myself and several others lately. I'm happy.
Keen to hear your thoughts on Brisbane tonight because I was just looking at the expected scores at 3/4 time. There really wasn't a lot in it. And I'm thinking, I feel like Brisbane's shat the bed in this one. Like they really didn't bring their A game at all, and they had some opportunities which they've just wasted. And I think for me, and I'll throw back to you, but for me, it just looked like it was, poorly executed, obviously, but also just in the design. The coaches have got a little bit to blame on this one. I just feel like they've handed it to us on a platter. We deserved the win, obviously, and we played well, but I feel like Brisbane wasted this one.
Yeah, I think for as good as we were, Brisbane were probably equally bad. They can't use excuses of, turnarounds or those sort of things because we had even less time and we had to travel over there. So any Brisbane supporters that go and use that excuse can take a walk. But I think there was a little bit, they were beaten in match committee. They were beaten in the coach's box. The Jack Henry thing was so important. It really shut down Brisbane's greatest defensive asset. And they also, on the flip side, they struggled to deal with our greatest defensive asset in Tom Stewart. So I think it was more of a coach's boxes thing. I couldn't really criticise the intent of the Brisbane players tonight. I don't think they shirked contests at all. I think, it was kind of lost in the coach's box, and then just a few, poor errors at different points. But again, for all that there were some poor errors that maybe resulted in behinds or no scores or turnovers. You also had, like I said, that string of goals in the second there, all of them from basically the same pocket, and none of them high percentage kicks, and they nailed them. So it probably balances out at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, we had.
But then on the flip side, you get Sam Draper standing 25 meters in front, deciding to snap it and having it get touched on the goal line. So
it's crazy.
He hasn't learned his lesson from the Essendon days, where he basically did the exact same thing.
We had a few runs of goals tonight, which Brisbane they were just sort of lapses from Brisbane. There was 3 goals in the first quarter we kicked consecutively. Obviously, we let Brisbane kick 4 goals to start that second quarter, which was starting to concern me a little bit there. But thankfully, we righted the ship at the end. But then that 7 goals either side of half time, I think, Jesus Christ, we're absolutely flying here. And then another 3 goals in the last quarter as well. Just the multiple runs from the Cats, which Brisbane just couldn't stop all night long. And a couple of times they got consecutive goals, but it just seemed like Geelong just had this game under control the whole way through, and were in fact just dominating at points. But at the same time, there were times Brisbane probably could have put a bit more scoreboard pressure on. I think what I didn't mention was I think Geelong's pressure, and I'd love to see what the pressure stats are a bit later on, but I felt like our pressure was really good and probably causing a few of the mistakes. Obviously not the set shot mistakes, but just around the ground, just a few of the misses that. Couple of misses from the goal square. I couldn't believe it, the way they were turning over there. Yes, it is, Aiden. It's very, very lonely at the top. Mitch Edwards, great game. Yep.
Yeah, it's good. Kind of. I guess we're not going to sit here, like you said. We're not going to pop the lid off and start calling it as our premiership at this point. But it does feel good to sit back and go, okay, like, we're in this one back up to our eyeballs again. Some of those early season concerns, what we saw against Gold Coast, playing what I thought before today was probably our best game of football for the season against Hawthorn, but still losing it. Yeah. This was a nice, and again, Brisbane were poor. But a poor Brisbane is still like a 7 out of 10. They're not like, they don't just completely wilt and fall over. Yeah, I think this was a big statement win. I think I saw someone use that phrasing earlier. I don't know where I saw it, but I'm sure I saw that somewhere along the way as well. Maybe it was in the Discord. I don't know. It was a big statement win, and I think we can sit back pretty confident and go, okay, this is a team that has the ability to go the distance. They've kind of refound that touch, that synergy, that connection issue that was going on. That was a bit of an issue early in the season. That seems to have been arrested. There's still some skill errors that are popping up, but it feels like they're becoming fewer and far between. And some of the blokes who've been, I'd say, struggling for form a little bit this year started to regain a little bit of touch. Tom Atkins. It was a great game from him tonight. They didn't necessarily line it up in his... Didn't have the 10 for you, so we'll use that stat line for the third Paul James show in a row. Hopefully he'll get 4 next week and push us over the line. But 6 tackles to go along with 26 disposals, and he was important. I think he relished the opportunity to try and seek some redemption from last year, because he was crashing in there on a few occasions, and you love to see it. I think, the pride of a few of the boys from last year. Yeah, Kerry's right. I did tip the Lions by 12. Most people tip the Lions, as I'm coming to realise when I look through through things like footy tips. But like I said on the day, I said head was Brisbane, heart was Geelong. The heart's happy.
That's it.
The head's pretty happy too, because when I look at all the people above me in the footy tips, they all went the same way. So no harm, no foul. I think it was. I think it was a great game, and there's signs, whether it's Tom Atkins, whether it's Paddy Dangerfield. It was good to see him roll into, and obviously, Romix just flagged that Paddy's jump was good, but to see him attending the centre bounce on a few occasions, it's something I've been begging for. And Bucks kind of addressed it the other week, and he did a good job there. But I think there's some really nice signs from some of our players who didn't start the season in white hot form and are really coming along. And then, of course, you've got Oisin Mullen, who's just He had 3 scoring shots tonight.
Yeah, loves it.
Wall kept Lockie Neal to... What did Lockie Neal finish on in the end? I think he kind of dropped the tag to an extent late. Yeah, Lockie Neal finished with 28. I'd be curious to see the distribution of those disposals. They were relatively ineffective, 346 metres gained, so it wasn't an overly important Lockie Neal performance, but quarter 1, he had 7, quarter 2, 8, 6, and 7. Great. So his second half, he was less prolific than the first. But anyway, numerically speaking.
How much time did I spend on him versus other players? I don't think it was 100% Lockie Neal the whole night.
No, I definitely saw a few instances where Bailey Smith seemed to be going head-to-head with him a little bit. And I kind of trust Bailey Smith in those sort of roles, not only because he's a great accumulator, but one of the things that's impressed me most about Bailey this year is that he's been really willing to chip in defensively. Like, his tackling game has been fantastic this year. Don't know what that ended up like today. Oh, he had 11 tackles.
Yeah, crazy.
So look at he's racking the ball up with ease, and he's tackling like axe now. This is unreal.
Hey, now last week, Paul, you neglected to get Thomas on. You left him stranded. So I'm gonna, as we transition you out, I'm gonna make it a 3-way, if that's okay with you, Paul. I'm gonna bring. Are you ready to go, Thomas? Thumbs up. He's driving his car.
I think I can see him talking. I don't know if he's actually ready to go.
Good. I think I'm getting a thumbs up. Can't quite tell. He's giving me
there's a thumbs up. There we go.
He's pulled over. All right, Thomas, and you have to apologise for abandoning him last week, Paul.
Don't give Paul that. Don't give Paul that.
Paul loves you at the moment because you're looking after him on Postgame Live.
Mate. Yeah, look out. There'll be 15 different super chats from him in the next 5 minutes.
Look, I was to be fair, I was enjoying Horatio last week. I always love his analysis of the game.
We need to talk about the blinds.
We do.
Yes, he has some good blinds, isn't he?
Who's in the car with you, Thomas?
My mum was nice enough to pick me up from Carlton. So,
g'day, Mum. Go Cats.
Yeah, there she is.
Hey, Mrs.
Go
Thomas.
Cats.
Go Cats.
How good was that win? Seriously, how good was that win? That felt so good. Especially after, I was one of the lucky people that got tickets to the grand final. So good.
We needed that, didn't we?
We did. I do want to contradict one thing. I don't think this was a statement game. I feel like if we can get a number over Sydney next week, that is when we can truly start to say, okay, we might be in with for a chance this year.
Okay.
I don't disagree with that. Yeah.
Mainly,
I don't mind the logic. Like, it's, this is now 2 in a row, but to do it again next week against another top flight team, that makes sense.
Well, but mainly my reason behind that is that Sydney pulled the pants down on Brisbane last year in the grand final rematch, and they didn't even make finals. If we can, Sydney is flying. They're top of the ladder. They are playing some of the most, competitive, most sort of good football there is at the moment.
They're really setting themselves up to choke in the grand final again, aren't they?
100%. I would love to, have that.
Don't clip that out, anyone.
Yeah, that won't be good if we make the grand final.
I've just had my Ben Reeve moment. I've had my Ben Reeve moment.
But I do. That was a very good win for us, and especially it felt good. I personally, I don't know. Sean Manor. I just want to get Sean Manor is definitely going to be my free tonight. Seriously, that kick where it was sort of a spill out from a pack mark that I think Shannon dropped.
Socking it out of the air for goal.
Out of the air,
for
he flushed it.
That was on. From that point, it was like, we're not losing this. There was no way we're losing this at all. That was incredible.
Yeah, that was.
Sorry about
that. You're back.
Can you hear me all right?
Yeah,
you're okay again.
Yeah, cool.
Temporarily.
Yeah, no, all good. I do want to put one person on, two people on flag. I think Tanner was quite poor tonight, and I think that mainly not because of anything he was doing. I think he just looked tired. We got to remember he had 12 months off the game for reasons that wasn't his fault, and tonight he just looked tired. He looked a bit, jumpy. And I feel like maybe not the worst idea to give him a rest next week.
Maybe
or even the
one
week
more.
after.
Paul, I'll throw back to you, just so you can get going. But you said, I think you said on the Paul James show, potentially play him against the Sydney game, and then maybe give him a spell after that. But,
I think all guns blazing for Sydney, and then the Carlton game, he can get a game to be managed.
I don't know. I honestly feel like maybe give him a rest next week against Sydney and give James a go. I think he was especially stiff. Like the only person that was pretty stiff to get dropped this week. From memory, he was almost at 80% disposal efficiency. He was one of the most valuable players against the Pies. And I'm happy for someone to correct me there. I feel like maybe give him a run, let Tanner have a week off, and then, bring him back in. The other person I kind of feel like had a bit of a poor game, and some people might dispute me, is Shannon. The last couple of times that obviously we played Brisbane, he got quite, he had a bath multiple times, and this game he mostly played off. Didn't play on Harris, and I still feel like he didn't have that impact he's had the last couple of weeks. And when he got the ball and when he marked that ball in the forward 50, he missed quite a few shots. I feel like I wasn't quite a fan of Neil. Happy to be disputed on that one.
My feeling on him is that it was like he didn't dominate the game by any stretch. But I would happily put a tick next to it because I think it was about a forward line structure thing, and it meant that different players were going to pop up, and it may have been Shannon's night if it all worked out, but it also might have been the night for some others, and it ended up being the night of Shawnee Manor and Jeremy Cameron. And that's I think that's fine. Because it's not like the ball was funneled through one person specifically at the expense of others. It just was very shared. It was kind of targeting a spot, and then Jack Henry would take someone out, and it kind of sometimes that was Shannon, sometimes that was some of the others, sometimes it was just brilliant crumbing from a small bloke from the VFL only a couple of years ago who then won the best young player in the competition last year at the sprightly age of 26 or 27. So
you know what?
So I'm not too concerned.
You know what? Speaking of Jack Henry, I was one of the people in the Discord who was like, I don't know why we dropped Collar. I really don't know why you dropped Collar at all. And I'm happy to eat my words on that. Like, Jack played an absolutely amazing game on Harris. And, I'm happy to keep him in next week if, he backs it up. Like, seriously, he played probably one of the best games. He played his role extremely well. Harris, I think he only ended up with about 3 intercept marks the entire game from memory. And
a couple of them came late.
Yeah, a couple of them came late. He played that tagging role very well. And he almost backed up his performance with a goal very late. Obviously, he didn't get that, but, that would have been a fantastic moment for him, especially because he's obviously had that foot injury for a couple of weeks. Having that confidence back, if he kicked that goal, that would have been amazing for him.
It would have been handy, wouldn't it?
All right, team. I might bounce. I'll get out of here. I'll go and get a reaction video recorded. And Thomas, you stay in there. I'll just get out of here. Enjoy, everyone. Reaction video to go up sometime tomorrow morning. I'll go record it now. And we'll go from there.
Good. Fantastic. Have a good night, Paul, mate.
See you later, everyone. Thank you.
See ya. Bye.
See you, Paul.
And again, Osh. I just also, I think I might give my 3-2-1s now. I think 3 is definitely going to go to Sean. My 2 100% would be to Oshin. Like,
Yeah.
seriously, he played an absolute game. He kept Neil to, I think, I'm going to actually double. So I'm actually not going to get rid of that because that kicks me out of the stream. I
Yeah,
think
probably.
from memory, Neil was only on like 20 disposals and 60% disposal efficiency.
Just
He
having a look now.
kept
Looking at
him
Neil.
quiet and almost kicked 2 goals on him.
He got 28
Like
touches
that
in
thing we've
the
been
end.
talking about the last couple of weeks, and the media's been talking about the last couple of weeks about Osh evolving his game from being just a sole tag at keeping the best midfielders quiet to being actually great at his offensive game. Like the first quarter, for about half of our goals, there was a chain where Oshin was part of that chain on getting those goals. He was absolutely brilliant in that offensive game, especially for the midfield.
It's interesting. We just let him off the leash a little
And
bit against Brisbane. He
only a
just
couple of
loves.
years ago, like Cats fans were screaming to get him dropped. They were
Yeah.
screaming. I remember when he was selected for the Port Adelaide game, the Port Adelaide qualifying final at Adelaide Oval, and every single comment, I think about 90% of the comments of that post when the team dropped was just drop Oshin. What is Chris Scott thinking? And today I generally think the first person you would pick and the selection committee would be picking is Osh. Mm.
He'd be up there, wouldn't he? He'd be. I think he'd probably make a. You wouldn't get too much of an argument saying he'd be in the first 5 players picked these days for
And
the
then I
Cats.
think probably my number one pick would, my then 1 point would go to probably Tom Stewart. Like seriously, he was massive in this game, especially in that first half. He was clunking every like half of the intercept marks going into their defensive 50.
Hey, you were at the
And
game, so you. Oh, I'm not sure if they showed you on
all
the
I was
screen.
thinking about was just what if we had him in that grand final?
Yeah, can I ask you a question about the couple of controversial score review
Anyway,
decisions?
what are you thinking? With regards to that.
Can you hear me okay though? I'm just not sure if you can hear me at the moment.
I
Audio
can't hear anything right now.
that's probably why. I'll throw a couple of questions your way. Anyway, keep talking, and I'll if we can't get the
Sorry,
audio.
Ben, I can't hear anything right now. Sorry, give me a second.
While you're doing that, I'm just gonna.
Hey, Matt, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you fine. No good.
I might drop out because I can't hear anything for some reason. So
right.
maybe go to
out.
the next person. That's all good.
Apologies,
mate.
Ethan
Yeah, I just
and
literally
then,
can't hear anything.
Yeah, if you come back, that's good. All right, talk to you in a bit. Bit clumsy there. That's all right. All right, Ethan, good to go. Thumbs up. Here he is.
Hey, Thomas, I've had the same issue when I've gone on StreamYard from mobile where it'll just like drop the audio of the other person. So unfortunately, not unique to you. I brought props for this one.
Oh, what have we got here? Gummy bears?
Lid's off.
Lid is off. What have we got? Have we got lollies in there, by the way? Because now
jelly beans.
Oh, very nice.
We actually have like the jelly bean factory like an hour from here. But anyway, nobody was expecting that, right? I thought we had a shot at this thing. Zorko being out, I didn't think swung things that much with like Coleman's ability to do what he does. Coleman's a damn good player, and we managed to minimize his impact second half. At halftime, I thought he was Brisbane's best. They have enough movers out of the back, but like, I just had this feeling pregame, like when Shadu posted that like they messed up with their pregame fireworks and they went early. And I'm surprised that Charlie Cameron got a couple goals after they had said, the Lions had tweeted he's going to use a different song for his first goal, but then be back to Country Roads for his second. So I'm really surprised that he got to 2. That would have been really fun to dunk on him for. But to his credit, kicked one really ridiculous goal from from the boundary, that dribbler. That was very nice. But outside of some of the second quarter, when I thought it was more Brisbane being good than us being bad, that's about as well as we could have possibly played. Wow. That was... I think Paul summed it up really well. Great game plan from the coaches. Like, at halftime, the only things to criticize, there were a couple times early where their forwards had leaked out the back, like their very first goal, and then I can't even fault our defense on the one that Draper gifted us 5 points on.
Yeah.
Because, like that all started with just a brilliant kick from Gardner. And that second quarter, we were reeling a little in the opening minutes, but that was one of the best quarters of just all-around football on both sides I've seen this year. That was really high-level stuff and was really fun to watch. And it was like, this is a finals caliber game. And then
two heavyweights going at it. Yeah, it did have that feeling about it. And then I guess one of them
they
just
brought out the best in us tonight. I think that was maybe the best game Bailey Smith has played in a Geelong uniform. I know he's had other games with more disposals, but I thought his usage tonight was absolutely tremendous, and I think it merits the headband.
Oh, he's got the headband out.
First time bringing it out this year. Had we won one more game last fall, you would have seen it a lot more. But the performance Bailey Smith has put on in the last couple games, I am so happy with, because he's shown up on big stages in front of big crowds, which at times last year, I think he kind of came off sloppy and hot-headed, and he was so composed. He had one kick tonight that I didn't like, where he just kind of sprayed it out to the wing in the second quarter and nobody was there. Other than that, like the couple of kicks that were labeled as ineffective were just, he was trying to kick it out of a crowd and someone was right there to smother it. Like, this is what he's here for, the way he played tonight. That was also vintage Tom Stewart. Do you remember when Stewart got chaired off at Adelaide after his 150th game?
No, I don't actually. I'll be honest with you. I can't remember that.
Well, I think that was a spur of the moment thing that was not planned, considering we didn't chair him off for 200. Yeah. But he had one of his best games of his career that night. He had like 15 intercepts, 10 intercept marks. He had 17 intercepts tonight. So I don't know if chairing someone off in their 201st game would be customary, but he deserved it. You could make the case between him, Mana, and Smith, all absolutely incredible. 7 intercept marks tonight from Stewart. And then we have so many other guys who stepped up that are going to be left out of like Brownlow votes and even coaches' votes, because we had so many good performers. I thought Lawson Humphreys was terrific. That was one of the best games he's played this year. Every time he wears something his sister designs, this happens.
Yeah, exactly. He was probably one of a handful of Geelong players that I think on watching the game again, we'll probably come to appreciate their performance. He didn't have an absolute masterful performance type of game, but he didn't do anything wrong the whole night. It was just one of those.
I thought he was excellent. A couple of the quick counters he launched through the corridor. He got credit for 8 score involvements and 8 intercepts. And just, I thought on a per touch basis, he was brilliant. He only had, how many disposals did he have? 22. Okay. And he really made the most of them. I thought he was outstanding. And then Jeremy Cameron looks totally back. That was, I know Paul touched on it, best game Tom Atkins has played this year. He really mirrored Josh Dunkley's role, just limiting opponents on stoppages and getting really involved physically. That was the version of Tom Atkins that we were watching last year, and I'm impressed that he managed to bring it out tonight. And then O'Sheen again, even before the tag kind of softened with the game out of reach, it wasn't necessarily the best tag he's ever put on, but his ball skills get better and better every week. And, I had been, a couple of years ago, I was also of the belief that he didn't belong in the team, but I thought, as his awareness and game sense grows, he will get there. You would see 1 or 2 moments a week really high skill. And it turns out he got there by cutting his teeth at the AFL level instead of in the twos, where a lot of us thought he should have been. And it's totally worked out. The coaches absolutely knew what they were doing with him, and the patience has paid off. And on a back-to-back performance now, he's just been magnificent. And that's kind of tipped the scales for us in the midfield. And I think that's allowed Holmes to get off the chain a little bit more and made up for, I know he had 29, but Tanner Bruhn was one of our few negatives tonight, I thought. That one sequence that led to the outstanding Charlie Cameron goal, where he just kept fumbling it back further and further. And he had a couple other bad turnovers. He got better in the second half, but he could use a game rested. I don't know if you want Bose against the Swans because you want speed against them, and Bose, you don't really think of him as a speed guy. Maybe there's a way to, I don't know. But
can I make a suggestion? This might seem like it doesn't feel like a like for like, but I feel like it's a perfect game for Ollie Wiltshire. I just feel like the way Geelong plays, the speed of ball when Wiltshire's in the team, I feel like that's a good game to get him to come back. And he's been.
That's a great call, actually. I was gonna say, like, it's not really a fit for George Stevens, unfortunately, who merits being in. But I thought, his road in would have been. I thought maybe with Atkins getting banged up, we would have managed him. And then Atkins goes and turns in his best game of the year. Yeah. Like, I don't think Atkins even cracked coaches' votes, but man, he was good.
He's always around about the 6th or 7th or 8th best player on the ground, but he does it consistently. This a slight drop off last few weeks, but that's been Tom Atkins for 3 or 4 years, hasn't it? It's just been not the best player on the ground, but probably in the best 7 or 8, 9 players or whatever on the ground. Does it every week. Mr. Dependable. Incredible.
We just scored 117.
Yep.
With kicking accuracy issues, and we couldn't take a chest mark in the first half. And then when guys just ended up kind of high pointing the ball, that cured it. Like, don't even bring it into your chest. Just take it out in front of you. That worked better. But we did that against a great defense with a handful of wasted opportunities between goal kicking accuracy and dropped marks and stuff. And that's, looking at it more, I didn't realize just how good Shannon Neal was tonight.
He had 3 assists. I couldn't believe it. He clunked a mark in those greasy conditions. I thought, if anyone's going to drop marks tonight, Shannon Neal will probably break the record for drop marks.
And he took that one right in front of Leicester too, who last week Leicester was outstanding. And I thought just our game plan against their defense was tremendous. I thought we were going to have Blitzovs go to Andrews, because I keep pointing to last year when we played the Saints at home. We did that to Cal Wilkie, and it took Wilkie out of the equation, and we got a bunch to ground level to create goals. And instead, we let Blitzovs exploit just different matchups all night. The 1%ers guys on Twitter, who I think are a great follow, plug them while I'm at it, they said that would be Blitzovs' best use. And it was because Jack Henry took on the Billy Frampton grand final role. Like, I don't care that he only had 5 disposals. He got into a bunch of contests. Out of those 5 disposals, 4 score involvements. And just minimizing Harris Andrews, who I think we can call at this point, even though he flops now and then and sold a pretty bad 50 that shouldn't have been called. Like, look, he's the best defender in the game right now. I know Wilkie's had a good year. But overall,
I still say Wilkie. Yeah, but you're right. He's top 2 for sure.
Yeah. And Sam Taylor just hasn't played a game yet this year, but we'll be right there. And Stewart, more games like that and fewer like the one against North, he throws himself right back into that conversation. That was vintage Tom Stewart. I love that as well as we played, there's still room for improvement.
There's lots.
Like,
if you review this game, you'll find heaps of issues.
I guess Mitch Edwards was good on the center ball ups, but like there was that stretch in their when they were in the forward 50 late in the third quarter where Curtin was kind of bullying him, and we managed to overcome that. They let us off the hook a couple times. And we did a great job capitalizing. Like, if Morris converts one of those early in the third, or after that really bad call, if McKenna converts late in the third, totally different game. But When they had opportunities, they fumbled them. And when we had opportunities, we took them. Like getting that lead back out before halftime to 2 goals was massive. The Bailey Smith goal to close the second quarter, that was both his goal sniper tremendous.
Oh, I don't know how, because he took the chest mark, and we saw a lot of chest marks get dropped tonight. So he takes the chest mark 60 meters out roughly, and I'm thinking, oh, okay, the umpire said play on, because he's just immediately played on with about 3 guys hanging off him. I'm like, what's he doing here? Anyway, he bombs it. I'm thinking, okay, he's going to bomb at the top of the goal square. No, just go all the way. And then I think you might have said before, really controlled. He didn't overdo it, didn't over celebrate. He just sort of went back, didn't sort of hang 2 fingers at the crowd or stick his tongue
He had
out.
fun, but he stayed within himself. And
He did.
I think as a whole, as a club, we did, knowing that we're seeing them at least once more, maybe 2 or 3 more times. Who knows? There's a long road ahead with a lot of battles with them, but to get one over them in such convincing fashion feels really good. Also, you talked about Bailey Smith with 3 guys hanging off of him. It was late in the second quarter when Tom Stewart spoiled one. He was defending 3 guys at once. It was like, I forget if it was Tunstall or Marshall and which the other 2 guys were, but they had a 3-on-1. And as bad of a breakdown as it is to lead to that, if you're going to have someone defending 3 guys at once, I'll take Tom Stewart's chances over anyone else on our list. And he did a great job on that. Again, this was just, I'm surprised how many times they kicked it straight at him and how many opportunities they gave him.
Yeah.
I don't know if they quite underestimated us or didn't want to show their full hand. You know, they're missing some key parts right now, but like with the amount of small forwards they have, you would think at some point they would have just had one trying to bother Stewart, and they didn't do that at all.
It was a failure from the Brisbane coaches tonight, and Fagan's a great coach, but he had an off night. The coaching team for Brisbane, they just didn't fire a shot. I feel like the players didn't execute either, but they just were uninspired tonight. They had no answers for anything. And Chris Scott and his team, complete opposite. It was a masterclass from Chris and Bucks and Kelly and Riles.
And again, there's going to be, like the chess matches over the coming matchups. We're seeing them at least once more. Like I said, should be a bunch more than that.
Yeah.
Knowing the way this is going.
Please not 2 more times in finals. My heart couldn't handle it.
Well, what I said last year, I thought if we play them twice in finals, we're splitting. We're not losing to them 4 times, but they're too good to beat twice. And unfortunately, it just happened in the wrong order. But to get one over them, to show that we can beat them convincingly, and to do it at their place feels good. We've played, I think we've gone like 500 at the Gabba this decade. We've actually played pretty well there.
And a couple of close losses, I think, from memory as well.
We had one really rainy game where we just couldn't execute. And last year we had a big lead there we couldn't hold on to. This feels good.
One for you from Flash, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Fagan thinks he's worked out the Geelong game plan. That's all well and good, but you've just given us 4 points, mate. So
I think both teams have a bunch more moves they can deploy, and we'll see who's healthy. I think as well as as well as Gardner played in that first half, we kind of minimized him as the game went on. And without Jack Payne, I think that really changes their defense. And then outside of Morris, they really, I guess when you throw Draper forward, but they don't really have any true like key forward now that Allen's hurt and he's out really long term.
Their mids and their smalls are just so damaging though that it's almost like they don't need. Everybody needs a tall forward. Don't get me wrong, but they have so much success with it, even without them. It's a bit like Geelong and not having a recognised premier top 5 ruck in the competition. Maybe
it's a bunch of guys who can do the sort of stuff Bailey does. Bailey's so dangerous.
Oh, he's so good.
We beat a hell of a team tonight that has very few weaknesses.
Yeah, I completely.
They-
I mean, they're an amazing team, and
Yeah.
I'm so proud of that we found a way to beat them tonight. Proud of the players and the coaches, but
Getting Jared Berry back in there also would help their
Yeah.
midfield equation. That probably frees up Dunkley a lot more.
Yep.
Dunkley's one of those players you appreciate way more in person when you see just what a limiting factor he can be on an opposing weapon. But again, I think we might have that extra piece in the midfield that, how many years have we been one more midfielder short? If O'Sheen's that guy, there's your solution. If he's more than just a tagger.
Is he the story of 2026? I mean, it's the first half of the year, but I feel like Tom Atkins was last year, and it does
I
feel
think
like
so.
it's O'Sheen's so far.
Him, and I
it's
think
O'Sheen's year.
Ollie Henry's redemption arc has been very nice as well.
Mm,
But I think it's O'Sheen.
yep.
Just
Could be
too
Max
many
Holmes
good
as well.
things to look at tonight. And to do this with such a huge stretch, knowing we see these guys again, we get the Swans next. This is an absolute gauntlet. I mean, really between now and round like 20-something. And we're playing so many Thursdays and Fridays. We're playing so many top sides. We've got a bunch of interstate trips. To check this one off, especially after our last interstate trip was so bad, this is just a huge boost.
Where are we
And
now? What's the ladder position? Are we? Sorry, not the ladder. What's the wins-loss column?
7-3.
Well, that's not bad. What does that compare to last year? Is that similar? Or?
I think it's ahead of where we were last year, if I'm not
I
mistaken.
feel like it is as well. And that was a grand final year, obviously. But
Let me see. Hold on. Where were we at this time last year? Yeah, we were 6-4.
okay, so 7-3, 6-4, probably 7-4 after 11 games of football. I'm assuming.
Yes, we didn't lose again between that and round 15.
So I'm not saying Geelong loses next week, but look, it's probably like this game going into it. You think, okay, it could be a coin flip game. It's a game played at GMHBA.
Giving ourselves a cushion.
Yeah, Geelong.
I would love to win next week, but
we haven't lost to GMHBA for about 8 weeks, 8 goes in a row. So I mean, Geelong could go into this one favourite, possibly, and probably should.
At home, I think slight favorite, but it's going to be a damn good game. Swans are playing great ball right now. It's going to be fun.
You keep talking, but I'm going to bring Horatio in because
I want to see what he's got planned.
All right. You ready, Horatio? You're not frozen on the screen? He looks frozen. Oh, no, there he goes. Hello. What have you got? Steely Dan.
Oh, I'm not trying to butt in on the analysis. I just I know Ethan's a bit of a stout man, so I just happened to pick up something I wasn't expecting to pick up earlier today. So I thought I'd give a bit of a intrigue demonstration what I got on if we had a good win. I don't know if how many people are familiar with this beverage.
What is it?
It's the Moondog Timothy Tamothy Slam.
Ooh, that looks really good. I love milk stouts. That looks awesome.
Right. If you know what a Tim Tam Slam is,
Sure do.
This is the first for Postgame Live. Oh, no. I thought you were going to snort it then.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, God. That's
if you've never seen anybody Tim Tam Slam a beer before, you have now.
That's one I haven't heard of.
Do you recommend it? Is that for everyone in the chat and watching on replay? Is it worth doing?
That is what the beer is designed for.
Okay,
That's awesome.
It's actually designed to Tim Tam Slam the beer. But it wasn't just any Tim Tam. It was the triple choc Tim Tam. And it was amazing. It's amazing. Better than the normal one. So it is. It's a very nice beer. It's a very nice beer if you drink it on its own, but it is better if you Tim Tam slam it. No question about it.
Ethan, did you do a shoey when you were in Australia?
Yes, actually, I was
you
like
did
one
do
of
a
the first
shoey.
things I did.
You did a shoey.
Yeah, I need to have like just a designated drinking shoe because doing it out of one of your regular shoes, bad recipe.
What's a shoey?
Well, you drink a beer or like champagne or that out of a shoe.
Oh.
Yeah, any piece of footwear will do. A thong's probably not going to work.
No, I'm just.
Well, not underwear.
My missus doesn't know anything about Formula One, so I'm just trying to explain to her what a shoe is. There's Australian Formula One driver, Daniel Ricciardo. He won a Grand Prix and he drank the champagne out of his shoe.
Oh, okay.
So
I also did one. I also did one here in 2022.
So seriously, Ethan, if you do actually end up coming over later in the year, like as soon as you know, let me know because I will get. I don't know if you saw a couple of weeks ago when I was I poured myself a beer and sort of got distracted admiring it during the course of my discussion with Paul. It was a damn fine barrel aged. It was. Have you ever had Bourbon County?
I have not.
Goose Island, Bourbon County.
No, but I could definitely find that there, especially if I go to Chicago in a couple months. They have a lot of stuff around there.
Well, we used to my missus is from Springfield, which is sort of in between Chicago and St. Louis.
I know where it is, state capital.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we used to get like the normal Bourbon County Stout and the Bourbon County Barley Wine, which were magnificent. But the year that they put out a release while I was over there, they did a coconut barrel aged, and it was spectacular. And this beer from the local guys up where I live, they did a collab with an Irish, like a brewery that does sort of O'Hara's, which is sort of like an Irish style, and they did like a coconut and almond barrel aged, and it was spectacular. So if you're coming over, seriously, I'll grab a couple extra because as an appreciator of fine stouts, you will love this beer.
Sounds amazing. That, and I want to try like the other one from that area that looks real good. Hubbard's Cave has some bangers too.
Well, I got to say, like this brewery, like I live in Malls, which is in Latrobe Valley, which is in the middle. There's basically three main towns in Latrobe Valley, which is Moe, where I used to live, Mall, where I live now, and Traralgon, which is where this brewery is. And my Lord, they put out some damn fine barrel aged stout material. Haven't had in fact, I've only really had one sort of iffy beer, full stop, from theirs, but their stouts are incredible. Like, it was a bit like when I was living in the States, we used to get a lot of Schlafly, which is a brewery in St. Louis, and you could get their barrel aged beers for like $12 for a bomber, like a Magnum. It's like, I cannot believe I am drinking this magnificent beer for $12 US a bottle. They're giving this away. It was spectacular. So it's a little bit like that.
This is a win that deserves some special ones. I got a couple ready to crack open. This feels really good. And again, with this stretch coming up, I don't know what's going to happen in the coming weeks. We've got more huge tests ahead, but we've shown that on the right day, we can beat the best. I'll pass the torch here, but 3, 2, 1. It's an obvious 3, and the question is just ordering them. I think I'm still giving the 3 to Bailey Smith, actually.
Wow.
And
Okay.
and the 2 to Stewart and 1 to Mana, because Mana, it was all in like one quick burst, that 3-goal run. All 3 of them outstanding. You could, it's hard to split. You could put them in any order, all good choice. And then behind that, I actually went down ballot. Normally I come up with like 2 more for, like a coach's vote thing. I came up with 4 more tonight. Lawson Humphreys, Jezza, O'Sheen, Tom Atkins, and you could even throw Shannon Neal past that. And if we're doing a polished turd, best player on the losing team, I guess Will Ashcroft.
Really?
Charlie
Okay.
Cameron maybe in there.
Yeah, maybe Charlie.
First half, it was Kadeen Coleman. As much as I'm going to enjoy any Brisbane loss right now, it's nice to see Coleman healthy and playing well. That dude's been through more than enough injury, and to see him healthy is nice.
Yeah, definitely. Music Cats King. Paul James is having the night off, just in case you're wondering. He's here. He was on earlier. You might have missed him a little bit earlier, but he's asked me if I could step in. So apologies for that. Music Cats King. You're stuck with me tonight. Ethan, any final thoughts on the game tonight? I mean, I want to ask you, where do you I don't want to ask you specifics about where will Geelong finish on the ladder, blah blah blah. But does this win after basically half a season? It's almost half a season done. Is it too early? I mean, you did take the lid off earlier, but seriously though, is it in your mind? Have you seen enough that this is a team that can and potentially will go all the way, or at least be in another grand final?
Can, yes. Will, who knows? There's a lot of luck with health and matchups. And again, we have the toughest fixture in the entire competition. But I now know that we have the potential to do it.
We've got.
I wasn't sure if we were going to be good enough to hang with the best. At some point in the next couple weeks, maybe we get a bath from a really good side. A couple more tough interstate trips ahead, but we now know at least that the ceiling is really high. In fact, I think we have a higher ceiling than last year, actually. I think our floor last year was really high. I think our ceiling might be higher.
Yeah, I agree with that. When you think about, that was the thing I thought before today's game was like, I made the comment in Discord. It's like, they basically dropped the bloke who I gave votes to last week. And I was thinking, and then I looked at the side and I thought, shit, if this is not our best side, it's very bloody close to it. So, I just thought, look, if we can't go out this week and put on a really strong showing, picking this side, and, Scotty, by his own admission, it was basically like, look, we probably put a couple of blokes in there that weren't 100% when they didn't have to. But I think, there was an intent there to make a bit of a statement, and I think we made that statement.
I think so.
I still think this is, I can detach this from the grand final, honestly, and think more about just the 2 home and away losses last year. Because again, I'm not at peace with the grand final, but because I think we had so many things that went so well that deserved to finish with the flag. Like, again, I'm so gutted for Tom Atkins after how brilliant he was last year to not get that. But, I think I can also accept that they played a brilliant game, especially that second half. And I don't know if anyone was beating them that day. Whereas the home and away losses, we pissed away a big lead at the Gabba and we embarrassed ourselves at home for Danger's Milestone and the whiteouts. So I think this more rectifies that.
I think look, the thing with when you try to win flags, you need a fair bit of luck. And, with 5 minutes to go in the third quarter of the granny, we were in front. And Jezza had a broken arm. you know, again, there was some issue with Max Holmes, who, okay, was getting plenty of the pill, but not necessarily using particularly well. But you need everything to go, in a grand final, particularly when it's tight like that, you need everything to go your way. And against a side like Brisbane, if you have those little things that go wrong, you're in trouble. And that's what happened. It only took them 5 minutes to kind of, to bust it open when we were particularly vulnerable. And that's the thing. Like I mentioned to Paul, I think it was last week, the week before, like I watched the thing earlier in the year where one of the guys that sort of does, one of the AFL channels that does, sort of opinion pieces and that, he actually put up a video of like a preview video of our season. He said, Geelong have got to basically beat a hoodoo that hasn't been, that hasn't been beaten. It's only been beaten once in 25 years, and that is that a side that has beaten by more than 7 goals in a grand final can like return to the top 4 the next year. And he said, look, this is the problem, but then, went through an analysis of it. He said, look, if anybody can do it, these guys are the ones that can do it. And I thought, look, that's one of the better assessments I've seen of, a lot of people are like, they're fucked, they're done, they've had their moment, this guy's going to drop off and this is going to happen and that's going to happen. But, he's like, look, gave a really accurate assessment of the list. He's like, look, I think these guys, he pretty much said, I think these guys are going to buck the trend. And, after watching it tonight, and I mean, look, I think this is the thing you've got to ask with sides that have been particularly successful. I think they thought that they were just going to turn it on there and that was going to be enough. And it wasn't. We went to another level again and they got found out. So the thing I was sort of hoping tonight was that, okay, look, if it's a competitive game and we lose, fair enough. As long as they don't expose us and expose all of our weaknesses, because you think, well, if anybody can do it, it's those guys. They've done it before, but it was the other way around. Like we absolutely pulled their pants in that second half. We absolutely pulled their pants down, and make no mistake, they're going to go away and have a good hard fucking look at it. But
Put that shit away, Ethan. Sorry, Foster. Sorry,
where's those good beers, bro? Come on.
I didn't bring any Bintangs back with me. I should have done that. And by the way,
Bintang, Winter Weiss, got a Japanese lager, and what else do I have here? A historic smoked beer, German.
Oh, is that a Schlinkera?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Ooh, is it the Marzen?
No, it's the.
Oh, I love some Keeler beers. They're bloody from Bamberg. They are bloody delicious.
Sambo,
no, you know what?
At home,
I'm gonna. While we're on the subject, I'm gonna give you a tip for the merch store, Ben. You need the Bentang. You need a Bentang shirt.
Bentang wife beater.
You need the Bentang shirt.
I'll do that. I'll talk to my good friends at Bintang,
you should get them to sponsor us. You've given them a fair nudge this week.
For those that don't know, I've just got back from Bali, which was a good time. But yeah, a couple too many Bintangs for me. And we are voting based on bintangs. I should have mentioned that off the top tonight. It's the bintang voting awards tonight. So how many bintangs? So you've already given your 3, 2, 1, Ethan. So thanks for that.
But we could also give them all 5 bintangs out of 5. I guess that's closest thing to giving them 5 out of 5 boos.
Yep. We really should get a sponsorship going with bintangs tonight. But no, not to be. Ethan, do you need to get going, or do you want to hang around a bit longer? Or
I'll listen in the background, but I think it's time to get going.
Toodaloo. All right. Well, thanks, mate. So Sydney, what is that? A Saturday afternoon game next week, 2:15 or something like that. That's a weird time.
4:15, and then the Pendlebury Love Fest starts 20 minutes after.
Okay.
And then I think we've got a couple more short weeks after that.
More short weeks. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, because we got Blues are a Friday, then Crows are a Thursday, Suns are a Friday, Dockers are a Thursday. So it should be our one Saturday in the next 4 weeks.
Really? Okay.
We've got a lot of Thursday and Friday games.
Do you know, I don't like that because you know what Paul's going to say? I can't do post-game live on Thursday because I got to work the next day. Anyway, you wait for it. He'll get me in the hosting chair again. That's okay.
And I think the reason I like it a lot after we win, I like it a lot less after a loss, but I feel like it's a lot harder on a Saturday when we play to give a shit about what other clubs do. Now we've got our 4 points. I can sit back tomorrow and Saturday and Sunday and watch all the other games. I've always liked, and we got to do this in 22 especially. Take care of business and then sit back and then watch all the peasants fight it out beneath you.
Yeah, it's always a good way to do it. Hey, Ethan, can you give me a close up of that headband? I'm pretty sure is that? Oh, that's very much like the old school one I've got floating around here somewhere with the
Bailey Smith ones that they gave out for free at the ground last year.
Oh, okay. No, they actually had a very similar one probably 30 years ago now that had like the stripes on the side and they had the big cats on the front, which I still have floating around somewhere.
I feel like a sushi chef every time I'm wearing this.
That's a good.
You do look like a sushi chef.
You need to start yelling to greet customers as they walk in.
The fish looks like it's been hacked by a blind woodsman.
There's got to be a
Hang your head in shame.
Horatio, come up with a Simpsons. Oh no, bad sushi or something like.
No, that's what I was just doing. Yeah, the bit where he's like,
he's trying to cut the fish just right.
Yeah, the fish looks like it's been hacked by a blind woodsman. Hang your head in shame. It's like,
I don't know if
no, you know what you're looking for, Ben? Poison. Tasty fish.
Tasty fish. That's the one.
I don't know if I've mentioned this one before. There was a sitcom called The League. It's about these guys in a fantasy football league, and one of the episodes they go to a sushi restaurant and it's a white sushi chef, and it's kind of the whole plot of the episode is like, would you eat sushi made by a white guy? And it's Chef Wesley San, and it's basically the whole episode. It's a great show. I've talked about it a lot. It's a really funny show.
Oh dear. Well, all right, Ethan, I'll let you go. Another good win from the Catters, and let's do it again next week, mate.
This and our second half last week was a real "we demand to be taken seriously" statement.
Yep.
Feels great. See ya in 9 days. Hopefully the guys get a little bit, get to manage their bodies a little bit, and we go again.
9 days, too long. Let's watch this replay in between now and then.
I will enjoy this one for a while.
Beautiful.
And Ollie Henry might have taken one of the best marks of the year, and it's a shame he didn't finish it with a goal, but he played a good game. That's something that gets lost in this.
Oh, yeah. Before you go, Ethan, let me ask you the question. right? I know you watch everything, so here's. Did Paul James just crash out? Just crash the.
No, it wasn't Paul actually that time. I'm trying to get Tasty Fish up. Keep going.
Where do Bailey Smith and Sean Manners' goals rank in the goal of the year conversation?
I don't know if they're top three.
Mm.
Will Ashcroft had one earlier this year that was ridiculous. Jed Walter had this Jackie Chan kick that should have won goal of the week and didn't because the voting, it's just, the Suns have no fans. This is a contender for third place with one Hayden Young had a week or two ago.
I know. I thought that. Look. Go back and watch Gary Ablett highlights from the 1989 prelim, and that goal of Bailey Smith where he took the mark and just drilled it from right on the edge of the boundary from 50 meters out. It's up there. It's got to be up there. That is a monster. That was a monster goal. But then Sean Manor just hacking that one, and he knew it was going through the minute it left his boot. What a goal!
He was off.
Jezza had a nice one too, where he wheeled around.
He's had a
that wasn't bad either.
We had a lot of high quality moments.
We did.
To be fair, there was some absolute ripper goals kicked by both teams tonight. It kind of makes me feel a bit dirty to admit it, but Charlie Cameron's first two were pretty handy as well.
That was probably the best. That should win goal of the week. Admittedly, that was really good.
Although by the same token, I'm sitting there watching that, and Laws was just kind of standing off him, and I'm like, I tell you, if you go back and look up Peter Dacos highlights on YouTube, and you'll like this because I'm going to go back to a game I was at. It was a close game. It was a bit wet, bit like tonight.
I think I've seen the one you're talking about.
It was a tight game. Ball's going out of bounds. Peter Dacos is running towards the ball, and I'm sitting there with a Carlton supporter mate of mine. He's got three blokes on his hammer, and I'm like, fucking hit him. If you don't hit him, he's going to kick out. He's running away from the goals over the boundary line, sticks a fucking boot on it, kicks the goal.
Bends
I'm
around.
like,
you fucking knew. I'm like, and I'm just going, I knew you were going to fucking kick that. I fucking lost it. And it was the same thing with that first Charlie Cameron goal. I'm like, Lawson, fucking, you got to hit him. Don't stand there and let him have a shot at goal. You know he's going to kick that shit.
I was more frustrated by Tanner's fumble that let that happen in the first place.
Well, he gave off that shitty hand pass, and then he went to butter up and then basically fumbled it to their advantage.
Like twice. He had multiple chances to redeem it.
Once he starts messing it up, you watch this next week or the week after or whatever, he makes one mistake, guarantee you there'll be five more immediately following in the next 15 minutes. It just gets contagious with him. I don't know what it is, but and then he puts
because then he had another one not long after where he bloody drilled it right down one of their defenders' throats, and I think they went down and got a goal out of that too.
But as good as Manners' 3 minutes was, or whatever it was, Tanner Bruin had the opposite. He does it. He's done it multiple times this year, and it drives me nuts. But I don't want to harp on him too much because you focus on those little micro sort of parts of the season or within games, and you forget the bigger thing. But we all know that 5 minutes can kill you in AFL footy, can't it? So that's why it hurts so much. Anyway.
But at the same time, we also had that one that Stewart kept soccering forward. I don't think it even led to a score, but it was a cool play.
Oh, good. The semi-final. No, that was the replay of the semi-final against the Swans.
Yeah, and then he set Harris Andrews on his ass at the end of it.
At last.
No, did we get a stoppage and end up getting a goal out of that? I think we might have actually ended up getting a goal out of that. Not directly from the passage of play, but we got it in there, locked it in. I think we actually got a goal after that. But
If we did, it wasn't direct, but it was that was good.
But like seriously, the guy was on fire. He turned back the clock tonight, Tommy. He really did. Like, you know, I'm not saying that. Like that. No, that was a vintage performance tonight from Tommy. It really was.
Again, that's up there, I think, with his performance from, and I was talking about this with Ben earlier, his 150th when he played at Adelaide, and they kind of like spur of the moment cheered him off after. This was right up there with that.
Yeah, agreed.
He just needs to take one of those big hangers and smile, and have a laugh about it, and then.
He did have a smile after that passage of play. Like,
it was great. He was laughing with
he got the big dirty face. You know when he loves it. You know when he loves it. He's feeling it when he gets that big cheesy grin on his face.
Cheshire
Cat. That was so good. Two of the best defenders running in the game, running straight into each other, and both getting up totally fine. That was really good.
So good. That's what footy's about, isn't it? That's the kind of stuff you want to hit that on slow mo in high definition. Ultra high definition, or whatever those super fast cameras are. That was beautiful. I loved it.
There's a couple of Tim Tams left for you too.
Hello. Do you want to pop on? Do you want to say hi? No. Does she want to say hi? Too shy. You tried to do that really quietly, Horatio. You should have done the Jeremy Cameron. Hello. Oh, you're hiding now with a beer in front. Hello.
This is Horatio.
Yeah. We don't want to call. Get your cat's gear on. That's great. I like to do. I'm not wearing any cat's gear tonight. I'm not very organised, but I often will watch games with a scarf on or a hat or whatever.
Yeah. I feel it brings luck.
Why not? You can't go to the game. You know, wear the colours at home. Who cares? Try and put the kids in colours as well.
Yeah, I don't know why I used to do that all the time, but I don't do it anymore. I'm not sure why. Can you pull the beard?
You jinx it. That's the problem. That's the problem. You have a bad game, you have a loss, and you're like, never wearing that freaking scarf again. Put it.
Well, you know all about that, don't you, Ben?
Well, yeah, I know.
I
did not start the X number of days since North Melbourne beat Geelong. I haven't done that one on the Discord yet. That's coming.
Let me ask you, Ben. Did you see the Giants banner last week?
Remind me.
Right, the one where they did the strengths and weaknesses of the weakness was the amount of days since Essendon's won a final. Yeah. And then they nearly. And I said before when I think Sarge put it up before the game, it's like, they're tempted fade here. It's like, surely if they get beat, they've got to be enough of the week making that call. They nearly lost. I'm like, shit. Like,
do you reckon?
We love the Giants sort of social media team and all that, and they like to talk smack. But I'm like, I think you've got enough of the year covered.
Do you reckon?
But I reckon if Essendon had beat the Giants last week after putting up that banner, they might have beaten you.
I don't believe this jinx stuff for a moment, but I don't think Chris Scott calls the coaches in on a Tuesday as they're starting to prepare for the week ahead. Geez, I hope dickheads on social media don't start throwing out comments like that. Oh God, it's going to ruin our chances of winning.
Bullshit. I'm pretty sure when he's there, he's like that prick Ben Reeve. He bloody said this on social media. Like, you gotta watch him. He's bad news.
Sometimes I get it right though. That's the funny thing. Like I was banging on in 2022 the whole year, pretty much from pre-season, that Joel Selwood he's going to have a fairy tale season. We'll hold the Premiership Cup aloft and sail off into the sunset. And you could not have scripted a better fairy tale Saturday afternoon. in September for Joel Selwood on that last day when we won the flag against the Swannies. That was great. That was one of the few ones I get right, but I do need to shut up the ratio. You're right.
No, the thing with that one though, like I basically didn't pay a great deal of attention for a couple of years there for obvious reasons, and it's getting down the business end of 2022, and I was messaging my brother, and he's like, "Oh, you guys are a chance." I'm like, "Mate, we're home and hosed, man. When you finish 20% and 2 games ahead of everybody else, you are going to blitz. You're going to blitz it from there." I'm like, there is just no doubt about it. And yeah, like, and the beautiful thing with us is every time we win it, there's some kind of story that goes with it that just enhances it that little bit. And when Joel went the Steve Johnson banana, kicked that goal just to put the icing on the cake, and everybody lost it. It was like, this is when we've left some flags out there, but when we win them, God, they're sweet. Like, and I don't just mean they're sweet because you win the flag. There's always just that little bit of extra. There's always just that little bit extra mayo with them.
Oh, that was so good. We've started early. We are already jinxing it because we're playing Swans next week. We've started early, and I'm holding you accountable for this one, Horatio. You've already talking about you're rubbing salt into the wound for the Swannies fans that might be watching. All 3 of them.
Oh, I wasn't even thinking about the Swans. It wouldn't have mattered who we were playing that day. We could have played.
Jinxed it. Paul, am I right? Is he accidentally jinxed it? I think he has.
Stop deflecting, Ben.
Sorry, Ethan. I know you're trying to get out of it. I'll say.
I just have one last thing. I had seen, I think it was Big Fella in the chat had said the twos play at noon tomorrow.
Yes.
Which I'm going to assume it's a similar experience to what I got to have last year, where the Giants and Dogs played a Thursday night at Marvel, and then the twos played out at Witten Oval the next afternoon, and the whole GWS team was there because they were all flying back together after, and I got to shoot the shit with half of GWS's club. So if you're able to get out to, I assume it's Brighton Homes Arena tomorrow.
Correct. That's correct.
I would think there's a good chance that the whole club is going to be there because they're probably all flying back together after. And, it's kind of like the equivalent of if, the JV football team playing with the varsity team watching, except this time it's the JV plays after the varsity. If for anyone who gets the American sport reference there, with high school teams, you have the junior varsity or the Frosh Soft team play, and then the big boys play after. If I wish I could be out there tomorrow just for that. That would be so cool to experience.
You'll find that if the VFL team plays after the AFL team anywhere, even if it's in Melbourne, the AFL boys will a lot of them will actually be there.
That was
I've got to sit there and shoot the shit with a few AFL players at VFL games if the AFL teams played first because they're quite frequently there. I've got to have a good chat with Cookie one day at Port Melbourne at a VFL game. We'd already done the business in the AFL, so he was out there just having a bit of a look at the lads.
Of all of the experiences I had last year, the day I got into the rooms after the Port Adelaide game was incredible, but so was just sitting there at Witten Oval. It's wait, that's Finn Callahan. That's Aaron Cadman. I can just go and talk to them. That was so sick. So Brighton Homes Arena, if you can get there tomorrow, I wish I could be there.
Get there. I've got a comment. It's related to that. I saw, I was in Sydney last year watching Cats and Swans, but beforehand on Tramway Oval, which is the oval next door to the SCG, the Cats were playing Sydney in the VFL, and Mitch Duncan. It's probably pretty much his last game, I think.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, he played in the VFL, kicked a goal, late in the fourth quarter. And we were sitting next to his family, his wife, kids, a couple of former Cats players, or at least one of them. And that, I can't remember the guy's name. They call him Bill. It's not his real name, but I can't remember what his name is now. Anyway, he ran on the ground and gave Mitch Duncan a hug after he kicked the goal. That was great. So get along to the VFL, because you'd be surprised how much you enjoy it. Yeah, if you can find the time to do it, especially if you made the trip to go watch the Cats this weekend.
Yeah, it's awesome.
All right, mate. You have a good one. Thanks for coming on.
I'll have a great one. Feels good.
Take it, mate.
Bye, Ethan.
Hey, Ethan. All right. I was actually thinking, you were talking about some stuff earlier about some of the best goals that no one ever talks about, or best moments no one ever talks about. And I was thinking we should do a video about that at some stage, because there's a whole bunch of things like
Jimmy Bartell's mark against the Dogs.
Yes.
Which was the same day, which was like 20 minutes after Nick Revolt took that sick mark against the Swan.
I think Stevie J did something similar as well. They took a mark and we lost the game and no one talks about it.
Quinn Bizzle's big specky against the Pies. Like, that's another one that gets, and an even bigger one he took against the Swans earlier that year that seemed to have been lost to time.
What about Cam Mooney? This is one I hate talking about, and it never gets a mention, but Cam Mooney's goal in the 2008 grand final from the boundary line, just dribbles it through. Does anyone remember that? Have you watched that game since? I've watched it.
No, nobody remembers it because he missed that one from 2 meters out.
I know. He kicked the best goal of the year pretty much from the boundary. It was unbelievable, and the Cats were up and about at that stage. That was incredible. But yeah, we do. It is sad that you do forget those moments that get lost in a bad loss. Hey, guess what? I found the picture.
It's not even the ones. It's not even the ones that get lost. That's the one.
Poison. Oh, tasty fish. Sorry if you're joining us late. You've got no idea what we're talking about.
I got to do it again because I say this all the time. The fish looks like it's been hacked by a blind woodsman. Hang your head in shame.
Knife goes in, the guts come out. That's another one.
No, what's the other thing? It's like,
hey.
Master, we need your skilled hands in the kitchen. My skilled hands are busy. Yeah, you want to play through the first 7 or 8 seasons of The Simpsons. I'm your man.
After that, get stuffed. I want to know about it.
Or any season of Seinfeld, 12th man stuff. I'm the master of that.
Yep.
But no, even great like that Clint Bizzle mark. Both of those were taken in wins. Taken in wins. And the thing is, I can't find a video of the Swans one. I can find a video of the Collingwood one, but it doesn't do it justice. The camera angle doesn't do it justice of how high he actually got up. I was on the fence. It's like, and you could see it was one of those was he's got the sit here, and he just got right up over the top of him. And the camera angle doesn't do justice to exactly how high he got up. But some of Ronnie Burns's goals is people forget how many absolute ripper snags he kicked, because some of them were in down periods for us. But that's the one. That's the one.
Who could we apply this to a Geelong player? Who is the master with the skilled hands at the Catters?
George Stevens.
Who? George Stevens. He's busy in the VFL apparently, so we can't.
That's the thing, man. He has the skilled hands. Make no mistake about that.
We could use not next week against the Swannies. So what were you saying about the Swans game? The Cats by 100? Is that what you were saying? You would no. I'm putting words in your mouth.
Look. It's going to be. Look, I'm gonna say. I sat here with Paul 2 weeks ago after the North game, and I was like, the next 4 weeks is going to tell us a fair bit, and I had not a great deal of confidence that it's like shit when we've it has been in a loss, and he was right, and I'm like, oh, shit, we really haven't put our best foot forward yet so far this year. And then, he was But, in the last 2 weeks, we've certainly...
last 2 weeks.
The
thing is, he's dropping out a little bit there. We might have lost you temporarily, but I'll just go with that thought while your connection's trying to come back in. The last 2 weeks has been really good, and you can play. It's just me at the moment. Oh, you're back. I got you. I'm going to chuck you back on. Now we got you there.
Yeah, sorry, you're
having a Snoop Dogg moment there.
My Wi-Fi just dropped out while I was out here having a quick ciggy.
Yeah, very good.
But
I this is
I haven't Snoop Dogged it in a long time.
That's got to be the next one. I'm queuing up. I think you were sort of saying just before it disconnected. We haven't sort of put our best foot forward, I think even if you do, and it's one of those things, you've got to do it 23 weeks of the year, and that's bloody hard. Like, you can be wonderful 1 week, but the true test is, can you do it week after week after week, and that's the test. So as long as Geelong keep sort of stacking wins, I'm going to be happy. I think some of the wins will be more like tonight, which is great, and they're especially against an opponent that. We don't hate them. I think we mostly respect Brisbane. I think that's probably fair to say. I mean, a couple of Brisbane players I don't like too much, but I think the organisation and the team, just heaps and heaps of respect for them. But always good to get a win against the Lions. But yeah, I think we've just got to keep sort of stacking these wins, and I'll take a shitty win. And Brisbane are the masters at that, aren't they, Hero Show? They just, apart from tonight, they just keep stacking these sort of ugly wins. Every now and then they'll show us what they're capable of when they're absolutely fired up. But hopefully Geelong just keeps sort of motoring along and just keeps banking 4 wins out of 5. We'll throw in the odd stinker every now and then. We'll probably lose to a better team once in a while. God, I hope we don't lose to Carlton. When are we?
Yeah, well, I was just going to say that.
All right, man.
No, we don't. Yeah, no. Look. That's really the thing. That's really the thing for me, is that I was reasonably confident last week that if we could string some good footy together, that we'd beat them, because I think that's the thing, is that it's I think with us, the concern has been that we just haven't appeared as cohesive as we usually do. We hadn't kind of
exactly.
We really hadn't sort of put it together. Whereas Collingwood have, as far as I'm concerned, some glaring weaknesses, and they're sort of reliant on a few to get to do the business. And I'm just like, look, like I said, I was reasonably confident last week. It's just like, look, as long as we play all right, we should have them covered because look, they're not going to be in the upper echelon this year, but they always match up well. They generally match up pretty well against us, and the games tend to be pretty close. So, and that was the thing, they sort of threw everything at us in the second quarter last week, and we withstood that, and then just buried them. Now, I was sort of looking at it earlier today, and I'm like, look, there's not a great deal. We played each other in a grand final last year. There's like 4% separating us on the bloody ladder at the moment. It's like, oh, you know what? There's nothing. There's not much to separate these two sides, and and the thing is, like I said in Discord, like like I said, I've said like that we dropped the bloke that I gave votes to last week. So I'm like, and I looked at the side, it's like, shit. If that's not our best side, it's bloody close to it. So I was just like, look, if we can't beat I felt like bringing these blokes in. It's like, I think we want to make a statement here, and I like on that basis is like I think we'll win tonight, because look, Brisbane sort of have they've won back-to-back flags, they have that aura about them, as we saw in the second quarter there tonight. They are capable of scoring very quickly if you let them off the chain. But that was the thing. Like, what we did the same thing this week that we did last week, is that we withstood that challenge and answered it. And then in the second half, we just went on our merry way. Exactly. And funnily enough, Sean Mannell last week was a big part of that, and he was the catalyst. He was the catalyst today, as far as I'm concerned. Probably, like, I'm inclined to agree. I'm not going to give him 3 votes. I'm not going to give him 3 votes, but I think we had basically 2 blokes play their best games that they played for the club tonight. And I
feel Manners' game, while you could condense it to a 3-minute period, I thought he was really his ball use and his hands throughout the game were absolutely incredible. I thought a couple of times he was just getting handballs fired at him, and in these greasy conditions, he just looked terrific the whole night long. So I understand. I understand why everyone's given votes to Smith and others ahead of him. I'm still giving giving him 5 bintangs out of 5 bintangs, but I'm giving him the 3 votes as well. I mean,
bentangs.
Bentangs. I'm giving him the 5 out of 5 bentangs. But yeah, for me, it's why, mate. This is why Gary Ablett Senior didn't win a Brownlow, because he did this every friggin' week, and the umpire said, "No, no good. Don't worry about it, mate." And sometimes he wouldn't even get votes. He kicked 7 or 8 goals and wouldn't get a vote. It's like, God, you judge him harshly. So anyway, anytime someone gets 30 and 5, I will get down on both knees. No, I'll shut up.
No, I know where you sort of half go with that, but like no. But the thing was, though, like, everything he touched turned to goal tonight. Like, and he was getting quality possession up the ground. Yeah. He did a lot of hard work tonight. And look, you know what? This is my knock on Sean Mannell is like, I always look, if he was playing for another team, I would call him a mug lair. Like, he's one of those guys that's all sizzle and no steak, and tonight he showed that he could be both. He can have style and he can have substance. And what tonight was like? Tonight was a Steve Johnson performance.
Yeah.
Where he was he was everywhere. He was giving off goals. He was kicking them from nowhere. Like, glorious performance. And, I've been a critic of his the whole time he's been at the club. I sort of considered him a little bit overrated for a while there. But tonight he showed everything he's capable of. And look, considering a month ago, he had a couple of games where he couldn't get near it. He couldn't get a touch. He was nowhere.
Yeah, 2 or 3 weeks there. Just what's happened? Have we already seen the best of him and he's done? Is his career already washed? Is he over already? But
but I got to say, he pulled the Paul Chapman. He said, "I sucked. I sucked. I played like shit. I was bloody terrible, and I'm gonna do something about it." And I was like, when I heard that, it's like, okay, this guy is a guy that look, he cares about his footy. He means business. He's not just riding the coattails or whatever. Like, this guy.
Do you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of Tom Atkins in 2022. I'm just lucky to be in the team. It was sort of that sort of level of comment for me. It's like, yeah, I'm not saying we're winning the premiership this year, but that's the stuff you want to hear from the players. Just a bit of honesty, being humble, doing all the right things. Remembering that it takes a lot to win games of footy in it, and you've got to, first and foremost, be a good team player, be a good teammate, and focus on the fundamentals.
Right, and the thing is, what tonight showed me, and this is what I'm really, this is what I'm really liking about, and even I had a long discussion with Paul about this last week about what we're seeing in the VFL at the moment.
Yeah,
it's like there's just a lot of blokes really working hard at the moment, and you could see guys just growing and developing and improving their craft. Like, look at how Ollie Henry's playing now. All of a sudden, he couldn't deal.
Yep, another one we gave up on. We gave Ollie Henry's finished.
No, I never.
The community.
The guys are talented. Look, I said it a few weeks back on Discord. I'm like, look, if we win the flag this year, right? If we were to win the flag this year, or even make a grand final, Ollie Henry is going to have a lot to do with that. We need blokes like him to take another step, and I feel like he's done that. And even like, like you saw it in the first game, like he was inside for the first game against Gold Coast, and once again he's ducking his head and not chasing hard enough and shirking, not going when it's his turn and stuff like that. He got dropped, and I'm telling you, the hard words being said. It's like, look, mate, you can play this game. You're a talented footballer. Right, but if you're not prepared to fucking work and put your body on the line and go when it's your turn, you're not going to get a game. We got all these other blokes here who are hungry for an opportunity, and they might not be as talented as you, but they want it more than you. So you got to make that decision whether you're prepared to cross that line or not. And I think, I'm almost certain that was put to him after that Gold Coast game, and he's come back since then, and he's a different player. Like the way that he's approached his footy it's like chalk and cheese. And look at how much more lively our forward line looks with him up and about,
and now turning the corner as well.
Right. That's the thing. Closey's got dropped. I'm pretty sure he's had the hard word put to him. It's like, look, mate, forget about your golf swing and worry about getting a kick.
He's still talking about the golf, though. He was posting on socials the other day about some Be Close gear that got delivered. Which is fine. Like, good on him. He's earning a bit on the side. That's fine.
That's fine. But it's like he's not practicing his 9 irons in the fucking forward pocket. You know,
go back to practicing your little tap. You know, someone, was it you or someone else was talking about the Selwood goal? For me, just as good as Joel Selwood's banana kick from 50 was the Closey tap to him, and that was Closey's 2022 season. He did that so many times. He did it about 5 times in the bloody grand final itself. Little dinky little taps. Didn't get a possession for it, but led to a goal.
Yeah, he did a couple of those tonight.
Oh,
and that's when you know, like. That's when you know he's up and about, is when he's doing stuff like that and taking those sneaky mismatch marks, you know.
Yep.
Deep in, he didn't get any of those tonight. But yeah, like he was pushing up, you know, and he was contesting. He actually, you know, and against the Lions, it's a fair thing to be able to sort of win that contested ball outside of that forward area, which he did on more than one occasion tonight. So, yeah, I mean, you know, he wasn't, you know, he's not going to get votes, but you know, that's the sort of lively performance we want to see from him that, you know, had been lacking in the first few weeks of the season, probably most of last season, really, too. He's sort of starting to, you know, return to the things that he does best and really brings to the side.
The best thing for him was getting dropped or managed, as they say, especially if you're an established player. And I wish we did it more often. I think we're a little afraid to do it, and I'm not going to say Chris, or at least, well, I am saying it right now publicly, but privately, I often will say to my partner, can Chris Scott make the hard decisions? Because these guys have gone to war with him. They've won him a grand final. Is he the right guy to be able to tap him on the shoulder and say, you're not playing well enough. I'm going to retire, or I'm going to drop you to the twos. Can he do it? And so I was glad to see. Not only did he drop a couple of players this year, and yes, we call it managed, but he didn't cast them aside. He dropped them, he brought them back in, and they've been better for it. So I'm liking that side of things, because I did have my concerns that maybe, you know, and you see there's a lot with coaches that have got these relationships with players that have just been loyal to the club, have just backed in the coach the whole way. The coach wants to back them in as well. So yeah, glad that's paying off. And you know, I've been hard on Tanner Bruin tonight, and I don't, you know, he's generally pretty good. He just has these bad little pockets, but I don't know if it would be a bad thing for him to sort of have a week off and maybe just, as someone else said, I think I can't remember who said it in the chat, but maybe just focus on the basics and not trying to overdo it. I think sometimes that was Reece Stanley's problem for a few years. Don't know if you remember 6 or 7 years ago, but Reece tried to do too many things, and someone just said, "Mate, just get the ball and kick it long." That's all we need you to do. I need you to be overcomplicated.
I did actually mention that in Discord. We were talking about when Reece got dropped after playing a bloody good game on last Saturday night. It's like, it's easy to forget that, like, you know, he's a beloved club man and shit, but God, he was, until pretty much we won that premiership, he was a maligned player. He was a whipping boy.
Yep.
And only a select few understood what he brought to the team.
Because
And yeah, like, you know,
every position. We do. We want to have all Australians on every line. That's not how you build a list, though, is it? I mean, you've only got so much in the salary cap. You can't have all Australians. 10. Well, we did one year, but 2007. But you just don't. That's not how you. That's not how you win. You just can't have the best players on every line. It doesn't work that way. And we've just found a way to win without having the best possible ruck. But what we do really well is we get people to play their roles, and Reece Stanley has done that to a plum. He's been absolutely incredible at playing his role for 15 years at this club nearly.
Yeah, well, I looked that up. Yeah, and like I actually said to Jackie earlier in the week, it's like we gave up pick 21 for Reece Stanley and pick 60, and I remember saying at the time, we're paying overs for this bloke. Like, you know, he was like at the time we got him for security, he was an athlete. Like, you know, he sort of had a couple of good moments. Like, I think he had a game for the Saints where he kicked 7 goals. You know, he showed a bit of ability, but had never really got it together. I'm like, why are we paying pick 21 for this bloke, given our success rate? So it's like, we've seen something in this guy. Clearly, like, we're not going to give up a pick that, you know, we've done, you know, in an area where we've traditionally done pretty well out of. Like, look at the picks we've had around that area: Steve Johnson, James Kelly, Tim Kelly, Cam Guthrie, you know, all those sorts of guys that we've sort of picked in that sort of late teens, early 20s region that have all gone on to be champions of the club.
Do you know Reece Stanley? I mean, you know this, I'm sure, but a lot of people may not realise Reece Stanley was at the club in 2011 when we won the premiership. He was there in 2010. Sorry, I'm misreading that. My bad. I'm looking at this is me on 15 minutes sleep. I'm looking at the wrong thing. 2015. Thankfully, no one's watching this. 44 people are watching.
Yeah, I was going to say, no, I think he started St Kilda in 2010 or 2011.
He was playing AFL when Geelong won the 2020. That's what I meant to say. No, he came to Geelong in 2015. And I think we had a couple other blokes running. It was Zach, the Gold Coast player, Zach Smith, was that who he was? Smith. And we had Hamish McIntosh running around at one point.
Yeah, we got Hamish, I think, in 2013.
Mumford was there at some point. I think, can't remember when Shane Mumford left.
Basically we had Mummy in 2010.
Yep.
I think it was.
Yep.
And then he was basically due, like he was a rookie elevation. And it was basically we had to or was it 2000? No, it was 2009 we had Mummy. And we had to make the call between him and Blakey.
We didn't pay him enough.
Well, we could. Well, we didn't have the money to pay him.
No, we didn't have the money because we prioritised the money elsewhere because we don't think we need to spend the money in the ruck because we think we can get the job done and we trust our game plan.
Well, it ended up being the right decision for both clubs because we won another flag and the Swans got a flag with him in there as well. So, like, we didn't have the money to pay him. So, you know,
Dawson Simpson was another one. He was there in 2015, and then we got Reece, and I think we might have told Dawson. Well, Dawson went elsewhere as well. And Orange
the thing, that was the thing. Hamish McIntosh had that. It was the year they finished top 4. He probably should have been All-Australian that year. He had a ripping year. But he was a bit like, with North.
Oh, yeah.
He was a bloody good ruckman. He was a bit like, I'm hoping Toby Conway not going to be like him, where he would have been one of the best ruckmen in the comp, but he just couldn't get his body right. And when he came to us, that was the thing. He just couldn't stay fit. when he was fit, he played some bloody good games for us. But the thing with a guy like him is that, I remember people saying, "Oh, why the fuck did we bother with this guy?" He was a gun off the field. The amount of work that dude put in off the field for the club was huge.
Yep.
Like, he was the guy that was going around and visiting the sick kids in hospital and going to footy clinics and doing all that stuff. Like, he put in a power of work for the footy club, and and that's why we got him. He wasn't just, can we get him? We sort of chanced our arm that we might be able to, like with Jack Martin. Can we get his body right? Can we get him out on the paddock and get him playing his best footy? That didn't work, but he was also a character guy. He was a great clubman, and he did a lot of really good work for us off the field in the time that he was with us.
1 year.
So
2014, he played 19 games, can you believe? And then I can't remember why he called it quits, but if he got injured,
he got another injury. He got another injury that he just hadn't. He'd had enough.
I'm not going to.
I think it was one of the Queen's birthday games against Hawthorn. He had a monster game, absolute monster. And I was like, "This is why we got this bloke. He's a quality ruckman. He's just never got a good run at it."
His last game was a qualifying final against Hawthorn in a loss. Back in 2014, last game for the club. I don't know if he got injured that game. He had 8 touches, 15 hit outs. So maybe that was a game he got injured. I don't know. Well, yeah, we went out straight sets that year because that was the year the North one.
We got beat by North the next week.
That's right. He didn't play that game, so anyway.
No. I'm pretty sure he got another injury of some description.
Probably some Hawthorn sniper, probably some Hawthorn player sniped him behind the play. Let's just say that. We'll go with that, unless anyone in the chat knows what actually happened there. We're talking about the curtains again in the chat. Is that a maroon curtain, or is it just the lighting? Can we have some interaction with the curtain? Can you give it a little squeeze and a shake? Can we have some? You can.
Would you like to feel my material?
Can you stroke it? Can you run? Screenshot.
No, seriously. Yeah, no, they're called. Look, it's maroon / burgundy, but when I bought them, it's wine colored.
Wine.
So yeah, and it's just a modern fucking paint sampler way of saying it's maroon or burgundy.
Oh my god. I made some notes from tonight's game, actually, because I was sitting there on the couch watching the game, and I'm like, sometimes I come on post-game live, and I'm like, what actually happened? Because I can't remember, because I'm only remembering like the last 2 minutes of the game, because I'm so invested in it. I'm like, no, I'm going to be like that little kid that's got the footy record and just marks down all the goals and the behinds and all that sort of stuff. So I'm sort of marking some stuff down and having a bit of a think about it. But yeah, we talked about the Patrick Dangerfield jumping. I think he sort of leapfrogged someone and jumped on the play. Do you know what it reminded me of? Straight away I thought drop bear. He's a drop bear. Drop bear moment.
There was something that it reminded me of, but nobody would get the reference. But it was like, it reminded me of something off a video called NBA dunks and basketball bloopers.
I would know. NBA Jam.
A mug player from back in the 80s called Mark Ivorodi sort of went up like that to defend a guy who sort of pump faked him, and he landed on his head and gave away the foul. It was like, you fucking shit truck. But like,
a kung fu movie. I can't remember what it was, but you know how they say, I can't do the sound effect very well, but it's like kind of it's sort of slow motion, and there's this sort of sound effect. Anyway, if I find the reference, something like that.
The thing was, who was the Brisbane player? he saw this missile hurtling towards him and he ducked. So, and that was the thing. It was a fair thing to do because it was like, he's gonna bloody, it's like, yeah, he's out of control. I've just got to kind of go down here and it's going to be a free kick. So smart play by the Brisbane player there, because he was just hurtling through space. But I mean,
we get
what,
that.
what,
I
what,
was going to say we get that. That sort of flying stars meme, or whatever it's called. Someone will know what I'm talking about. Anyway, but that was a moment. There was a couple of controversial goal line reviews though, Horatio, that got me up and about early. One of them was I think the latter one was the what's his name? Connor O'Sullivan took a mark on the goal line. It wasn't a mark, but everyone in their dog could say it wasn't a mark. But we had to show the ads again, so we had to do a score review. I'm so over it. I'll tell you what.
I just don't understand.
Apparently there was a deflection. Jeremy's kick. Shooting stars meme. Thanks, Paul. Are you still awake, Paul?
Without wanting to go on a fucking monstrous rant, like, I understand that.
Can you please go on a monstrous rant? Can you do it?
Okay. Well, okay. All right. I can do
Give me the runway. I'm giving you the runway. Off you go.
I can understand. Like being an umpire, it's like being a cop. It's a thankless job. Most of us don't want to do it, right? So there's got to be some appreciation for the people that are prepared to do it. Now, I don't understand how you can have 4 fucking umpires out there right now, and yet the interpretations of fucking decisions are more convoluted and inconsistent than they were than when there was 2 umpires. And then that one of Jez's early in the game. Like I said in the Discord, you might have seen it. There was fucking 4 umpires there. There was the boundary umpire on either side of the goalpost, the goal umpire, and Lee Fisher was the field umpire, was closer than the fucking goal umpire. He was like 2 meters away from the man on the mark.
Yep.
It's like if the goal umpire heard the ball come off the guy on the mark's fingers, how do the other 3 umpires not fucking hear that? How do they not hear that? The fucking field umpire who's asking for the review was standing closer than the goal umpire and he didn't hear it. It's like you like, how can you not hear that? And we're not talking about any garden variety league umpire. We're talking about an umpire who played league football, for God's sake, who fucking knows what it sounds like. And he was a defender. He knows what it sounds like when the ball hits a fucking guy's finger. We're all sitting there going, yeah, he probably touched that.
Yep.
Why? Why, when there are 4 goal umpires within fucking 10 meters of this kick, only one of them seemed to hear that the ball was touched, and then we've got to go to a review that piss farts around for 3 minutes, decide, going through all these angles, none of which illustrated whether the ball was touched or not, and then they went, oh, the ball was touched. Fuck me. There's 4 of you there. We're putting more umpires out there to avoid this sort of shit, and you're making it worse. What the fuck? Like, I don't, that's like, and don't get me started on like the interpretation of the holding the ball decision.
Oh no.
Like, my God, it's like either be red hot or let it go. Right?
Yep.
It's like, how hard does it have to fucking be? It doesn't have to, like, you know, people will accuse you of being nostalgic and shit like that. Yeah, you can put up a dozen examples of this. A dozen of them. It was like a lion pouncing on its prey.
Oh dear. Unbelievable. It makes you wonder some of it sometimes, doesn't it? I always think the same thing about, you talk about the umpires and you think, how many umpires is it going to take to get the decision right? I feel like that same way about the ground security as well. You could have 1,000 security guards around the fence. Not going to stop. But they're just there wearing a fluoro vest. That's all they do.
Well, I don't like, it's that thing of like, oh, you know, it'll make it easier to get it right. And none of this stuff has helped any of that, any of it. Like, you know, this is what I said when, like, they brought in the DRS in the cricket. Oh, it's to get rid of the howlers. It's like, fuck. Whatever happened to just respecting the umpire's decision? Right? They, you know, neutral umpires sort of got rid of the biased, oh, if you're a touring team on foreign soil, you're never getting an LBW decision sort of
I was
thing.
going to say that one actually.
Right.
Saturday afternoon cricket, local cricket competitions. I've done that. You've had your bat, or you yet to come in for a bat, and you know you got to do something. So you go out and you be the umpire. And are you going to give out your teammate LBW? No chance you are.
Hey,
absolutely plumb, not out. Nah, didn't pitch in line, something like that. Whatever.
I'll tell you. I umpired cricket for a season up here in the Valley when I was younger, and I was umpiring a final, and one of the team's opening batsmen was a particularly big hitter, and the opposition guy had him plumb LBW in the first couple of balls, and I gave it not out, and they were ready to kill me. And then he proceeded to smash like 80 runs off about 30 balls. Like he was putting balls into the swimming pool next door. And then eventually he got another one where he's kind of danced down the pitch and got wrapped on the pads, and they went up and I gave him out when he probably wasn't out, but it was 80 runs too late. And the other team lost. And let me tell you, I had to hightail it out of there mighty fucking quickly because the opposition, the other team was ready to fucking kill me.
We need to.
They thought I was a plant. They honestly thought I was a plant. But I just I did kind of know this guy. He was sort of a mate of my brother's. But yeah, I was just like, I'd seen this guy wreak havoc, and I was just like, oh, I'm getting my eye in here. I'll let him off the hook. And then I wasn't expecting him to go quite as ballistic as he did, but it was a sight to see. But yeah, the opposition didn't like me too much.
No, you've got to keep everyone happy when you're the umpires.
But nevertheless, I mean, the point is that, you know, all these measures are being put in place to, you know, minimize howlers and minimize this. It's like, no, but if anything, it makes the howlers even worse and confuses a lot of the rest of the shit. Like,
I completely agree. I think we overcomplicate. I don't want to be that guy because there's always, people that oversimplify things when some things can't be simplified that well. But I think when it comes to a few things like goal line score review decisions, I don't think it's that complicated. I think you just trust the umpire. You live with the mistakes from every now and then. And if there is a mistake, if there's a goal that's given that shouldn't have been given, well, guess what? You've got 30 seconds before the ball's bounced. That's the time to fix it. Everything else, get rid of it. It's an absolute waste of time. It's nothing but an advertisement and a revenue-raising activity for the AFL, this score review bullshit. So we can do it without all that. That's the one thing. I do appreciate that some things are a little bit more complicated and maybe I don't have all the answers for certain things like interpretations of rules and so forth. But I think that the goal line review stuff, it's just it's an easy one for me. Just
actually, yeah.
Goals.
Funnily enough, I never actually considered that, all this piss farting around was just an opportunity to cram more ads in.
Trying to make the game quicker, aren't we, for the fans that are at the game and watching at home? Happy to have longer breaks to go grab a pie or a beer or go to the toilet. But for goodness, can we, while the quarter's being played, can we just sort of let the footy speak for itself? Because it's a wonderful game, the AFL, which we're doing our best to kill it, though.
Well, they bring in these rules to speed up the game and then bring in a bunch of other shit that's slowing it down even more than the rules that they, brought in to speed it up.
It's like we want to speed up the game in other ways so that we can show our Centrebet ads or whatever they're called, gambling.com. Bloody ads are that they do to make money. But
sports bet and all that sort of shit.
And 100%, we will never, as long as I'm breathing on this earth, we'll never take a single dollar from a gambling company on this channel. We'll throw a few ads out there every now and then, but there definitely won't be any gambling ads on here. Not against a punt. I do it every now and then myself, but I have an issue with taking a revenue from gambling.
I think you're over the target there.
Yeah, exactly. So there was that. So there was it was the Jezza touch and the Connor O'Sullivan non-mark, and I just think, you're kidding me, aren't you? Absolutely kidding me.
Yeah, the Jezza one was just ridiculous to me. Look, I was just like, you are fucking kidding me, aren't you? There's 4 of you there.
Yep.
I'm not gonna sit here and pore over what was called as holding the ball and what wasn't. Like I just don't like, honestly. I've been watching football for fucking 50 years. I don't understand what the hell. Like it varies from one team to another and 1 minute to another. It's like, look, it's pretty simple. If you get the ball and you take it and it's not even about prior opportunity. It's like, if you get the ball and you take a bloke on, right? Yeah. You're gone. Just pay it. Like unless, it's a situation where you take possession of the ball and you get besieged, like you take 3 steps and you get tackled, you're gone. Like you're taking a bloke on. Call it holding the ball. I would rather pay it red hot all of the time than pay it red hot some of the time and other times put the whistle away. Like, you pay it one way all the time, or you let it go, or
it's like,
and you saw that tonight.
If you're not in the act of getting rid of the ball when you're wrapped up, you've got, everybody knows. The players know this themselves. I'm sure they do. I'd love to get one of them on one time, just ask them the question. It's like, you get the ball, your handball receive, you get the ball. Your first choice is to take a step? No. Your first choice is to try and dispose of it. If you get caught up in that moment, okay, you haven't had a sufficient opportunity to get rid of it. But if you've had time to take a couple of steps, sorry, that wasn't your first. Your first act should be to kick it or handball it, not to take 3 steps to kick it. It's like,
right. And if you don't get a clean possession out of there, you're gone. Because 9 times out of 10, particularly if players and that's the thing, in those situations, if players are trying to get it out of there by hand, it's a throw.
Yep.
Like it's like the amount of blatant throws that we saw tonight, and you see and it's not just our game. The amount of just blatant throws that that players get away with these days, it's like there's 4 umpires out there. Fucking crack down on it.
It's I mean, they I guess they turn a blind eye to it because they want the game to be nice and fast. I've got another video thanks to Shadu. Shadu shared another one with me, so we'll cue this one up. Hang on a sec. This is the Tom Stewart. This is him trying to recreate that semi-final moment against the Swannies so many years ago. Here we go.
This was awesome.
I'm going to have to start it a little bit because I don't want to.
And the best thing about it was he sat Harris Andrews on his ass at the end of it.
Here he goes. He's at bottom right. He's about to go nuts here. Boom, boom. There's the first touch. Another kick there. Hang on. And then he's got about 4 more efforts left in him here. Who's on him? Is that McKenna? I think it is. I think it's McKenna at that point. There's another one. And another one. That's 3 or 4 efforts already. And he's still going. Who's he burned off there? Is that McCluggage? Or is that? And there's another one. That's 5. Bang, 6.
God, that was good. That put a big smile on my face. Put a big smile on his face too, I might add.
Oh, very good. Thanks, you do. That's good. That was one of the good ones. Keep sharing them, Shadu, if you can. And we'll probably get demonetized, but that's okay. I hope not. When I say demonetized,
she got back safely, which is good to see.
It is. Demonetized. So, yeah, YouTube channel, for those that don't know, I think if we've got like more than 1,000 subscribers or something like that, we can earn advertising revenue and stuff like that. But if we show something which kind of we don't have the rights to, like there's copyright material, like the AFL generally copyrights every little bit of footage, even highlights packages and stuff like that. They don't let you show it. It's crazy. Unlike in America, where basically you can show NBA, NFL. YouTubers do that stuff all the time. We show 3 seconds of it, and it's like, nah, sorry, no advertising dollars for you. Not that we make a hell of a lot anyway. Like this post-game live, just out of interest, if anyone wants to know, probably makes about $10, which is split between the 5 of us that run the channel. So you don't get a lot of advertising revenue. So, but yeah. Thanks to we get a few super chats every now and then, and YouTube channel members and Patreons as well. So, but yeah, don't get the YouTube sort of stuff. They're really tight with all that sort of stuff. Anyway, that's not why you're here on Post Game Live. As we start to wrap the show up, Horatio, because I'm gonna. I was telling Paul earlier.
You need to sleep. You sound like you need a bit of a sleep.
I need to sleep because I caught the 11:30 p.m. flight from Bali to Avalon yesterday, and it was a reasonably quick flight, 5.5 hours, but I got about 15 minutes sleep on the plane. Wasn't comfy, and yeah, all kinds of things going on there, but that's all right. So anyway, but it's been fun. I've enjoyed a Geelong win has made it easier to do a post game live show tonight. I was hoping to get a few Brisbane people on. We normally get Brisbane Lions fan cast on, but they must have been busy tonight that they couldn't make it. But if they're watching, it's not too late. I'll quickly squeeze you on. Sleep off the Bentangs. I will be honest. I was adding a bit of mayonnaise to my Bentangs experiences. I actually went pretty calm on the Bentangs while I was over there. I had a few. I was mostly hitting the cocktails, to be honest with you. That's probably not as cool as hitting 15 Bentangs a day or more. But no, I was trying everything. I had about 15 Nazi Gorings and basically sat by the pool and had the best, laziest week you could ever imagine. It was great, and I'm feeling good, except a little bit tired after last night.
Well, that's all that's the main thing, man.
Yeah, it's good times over there. It's cheap too, relatively. I know not everyone can afford an overseas trip, but as far as overseas trips go, Bali's probably one of the cheaper ones, and you get a bit of culture out of it too. So definitely, a
Yeah,
good place.
I think it's one of those things where if you can afford to get over there,
Yep.
then the costs once you're there are the least of it, really.
Oh mate, 80 cents for a Coke, $5 for a beer. Basically, it's one of those countries where I try to sort of not be a dickhead while I'm over there, but essentially you can. If you want something, you can buy. If you want it, you can buy it. Except a big bag of. Don't Chappelle Corby found out the hard way. But yeah, basically, you want something. If you want to do something, you want to have something. You can pretty much get
do
it.
Do it while you're there. Don't bring it back.
Don't bring it back. Don't bring it over. Is probably the golden rule.
All right. Well,
Anyway,
I'll give my votes and
give us some votes and some final thoughts.
all right. Well, 3 votes. Sean Manor, best game for the club. Really sort of I feel like this tonight was sort of the culmination of everything he's capable of. You know, did sort of the flashy things without being selfish. You know, gave off a lot of goals, pushed up the ground. Just everything he did tonight was creative, damaging, and he did it for 4 quarters. Just great performance from him.
And don't forget to say how many bintangs out of 5. As well.
But absolutely 5 bent. Well, all of these guys, 3, 2, 1, they're all getting 5 bentangs. All of them. Tom Stewart's getting 2 votes for me. 17 intercept possessions tonight. That's a ridiculous performance against the reigning premiers on their home deck.
Yep.
You know, he out Harris Andrews tonight. Just showed him hey, I got a bit of class as well.
Done it for longer than you have, mate.
Yeah.
I've been 5-time All Australian. Harris has won a couple of premierships, but yeah, I've got the All Australians on you.
Exactly, and 1 vote to Baz. Just I agree with Ethan. Possibly his best performance for the club, and I think with him it comes back to what I was saying to late last year. Yeah, like he's always been a meters gain guy. You know, sort of see ball, get the ball and kick it sort of guy. You know, always hard runner and stuff like that, but he really has developed his link man game, his ability to get in amongst those chains and not just be purely about the meters and purely about the hard running and stuff like that. And yeah, he really, really busted his ass and I kicked a couple of brilliant goals. And took some good marks tonight too, as well.
Yeah.
I thought so.
Yeah,
I thought those guys were clearly the 3 best players on the ground. Lawson had a great game as well. And yeah, you know, I don't think any of our guys had stinkers tonight.
no one's on notice as far as you're concerned.
No, I think everybody had contributed something fairly substantial to that performance. But yeah, I thought they were clearly the 3 best and most influential guys on the ground. So from start to finish, so that was pretty easy.
That's fair.
Yeah, like what can you say? Like, yeah, I don't think last year's grand finals got anything to do with it. I think it's just, you know, everybody's saying that. Look, people on Discord were talking about it during the week. Oh, Brisbane, you know, they're probably still the best side in it, and a lot of the footy media. It's like they're not going to win it this year. Like I just the class is still there, but I've seen it with us over the years. There's just an edge that's just I'm just sensing that they just don't have that edge this year. Like when they've needed to find it, like in years past when they've needed to find it, they could just find it. This year, well, I think I've seen games when they've needed to find it, they haven't been able to find it. So, yes, they play where their best is probably the best, and we saw that in the second quarter that they erased a pretty significant deficit, and they'd been pretty convincingly outplayed. They erased that deficit in basically 5 minutes. So that makes them a dangerous side, obviously, but I just feel like that was the thing. I could have said the same thing about us to a certain, and I sort of have said the same thing about us over the first few weeks of the season. But tonight was a game where, I think you've got to identify those sides that are going to be there when the whips are cracking at the end of the year, and you don't. It's just so much. Oh, you've got to draw a line in the sand or make a huge statement because there's still a lot of footy to be played, but you don't want to get your pants pulled down by one of the sides that is going to be there when you're going to need, that you're probably going to need to go through if you want to win it again. And I thought, it wasn't just one or two elements for them tonight. Like they looked well short of it for most of the night, and they were outcoached. Like even when they had the chance to find the answers, they sort of didn't. And I think, people could say, well, didn't that happen in the finals last year where Vega was outcoached the first week when we thumped them, and then they turned it around. But I feel like tonight exposed some deeper issues in their side that it sort of has to be going a particular way for them, or they really battled where they really battled when it wasn't going their way. And this is what we've been able to do that's really impressed me the last couple of weeks, is just we've weathered the storm when we've needed to weather the storm. That's something that we haven't necessarily been great at in recent times. Even last year, that was something that, we sort of improved on as the season went on. But it's never really been one of their strengths. But the last couple of weeks in the second quarter, when the opposition's like, this is where we can get them, we've weathered the storm and answered the challenge, and that's a really good sign for us early in the year because, as I say, that's never been one of our strong points necessarily. So look, I'm really looking forward to next week and coming up against a side that I think is setting a bit of I think what they've done this year, particularly without one of their best players, they've set a bit of a blueprint about how you need to go about it going forward in footy, like really fast ball movement, stuff like that. So yeah, it's going to be interesting playing them down at Geelong. Because I think it's a tough ground. I mean, I think even we, to some degree, find it tough to get that really fast ball movement. Being a narrow ground, it's hard to get that fast ball movement going some of the time. If the opposition's really concentrated on shutting you down. So I don't know. I'm glad we're getting, it's good. I feel a lot more confident going into it on the back of the last two wins and how we've gone about it. But yeah, they're sort of, I really think they're setting the blueprint for, hey, this is how footy's going to be played in the future. and we're going to get at the forefront of that. Like we're taking what Brisbane's done, and we're seeing what Brisbane's done, and we're going to take it to another level again. So it'll be a really good test, and I think the one positive for us tonight was that and last week too. Like even when we haven't had the run of play, our pressure's been pretty good.
Yep.
And then when we've been really challenged, we've found another gear pressure wise to go up to. So it's going to be a really good test, and I'm a lot more confident than I was 2 weeks ago about our ability to take that on.
Yeah, we seem to be growing in confidence week after week, don't we? And I mean, the clock resets. It's already reset. We're back to after opening bounce of the first quarter again next week. Like we haven't, obviously we'll see what happens with Sydney this weekend and how they go. But I have a thing with my footy tipping at least, and I believe this, that if you can beat a dominant team, and Brisbane is probably the second best team going around before tonight, I reckon, at the moment in terms of recent form. I reckon Brisbane's probably up there, just a tick behind Sydney. We've smashed them on an interstate trip by 40 points, 41 points or whatever it is. That is a massive tick for Geelong. So if we're not second or third favourite for the flag at this point, I don't know who would be. But it's only 10 rounds into a season. I can't even remember what happened round 10 last year. I know roughly we were 6-4, but
can you remember? Can you remember we were in 2022? We were 5-4.
5-4, yeah, exactly. So it doesn't really matter. It's the back end. We
didn't lose another game for the rest of the season.
How do you finish the last 12 games? Is probably, or the last 12 or 13 games. I'm not exactly sure how many are left. But then the X factor question, and Brisbane have been really good at answering this question the last 2 years. How are you going to perform in September? Because Brisbane has the answer, and they have. And you said, they're not the same team. They've lost a bit of the edge. I'm not writing them off only because of what they do in September. Almost every year, they do it all the time.
You can't write them off because they've been nowhere this time of year every year for the last 3 years, and they've made the grand final and won 2 of them. So they're aiming to be cherry ripe. At the business end of the season. My thing about it is just that I'm seeing some weaknesses there in their game that I haven't seen before. And that was the thing. They thought they could just flex tonight and that would be enough, and it wasn't. I think that's. I think that's the thing, and and we've sort of found that to a certain extent, in our dominant era back, in the, from 2007 to 2011, there was, the couple of years we didn't win it. That was our problem. Was that, we just lost that competitive edge a little bit. That when we thought we could just, our best was good enough and we could just flex, and then suddenly we found on games like tonight that it just wasn't quite enough.
I remember teams saying, I feel like Geelong's lost their aura. This is probably 10 years ago now. Didn't take long to get it back again, did it?
That's the thing I'm saying, though, is that it's not necessarily an ongoing thing. It's just it's a season to season thing.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, just going from 2009, where we weren't the best side all year, but we were the best side when it mattered, the same as what happened the year before. Yeah. We were the best side all year, but Hawthorn were the best side when it mattered, right? In 2010, that whole year with the whole junior thing going on and There was, you know, Bomber had clearly had enough and stuff like that. Like, I just said, look, we were winning games of footy. Yeah, plenty of games of footy and shit. And, like, man, if that free kick against Cameron Mooney hadn't been paid in that first final, things could have been a whole lot different. Who knows?
You've just cost us the game. You know you've just cost us the game.
Yeah. But I was like, oh, yeah, oh, man. I nearly jumped the freaking stand that day. But yeah, like just that whole year, I remember saying to my mates, it's like, we're not going to win it this year. We're just, even with all this outside noise, it's just like, we're just not quite there. There's just, the competitive edge just isn't, I just feel like we're just a bit off. But then, by the same token, when we lost that year, I was like, Bob, it's like, I'm done. Gazza went. And as soon as we got Chris Scott, it's like, I said to people, it's like, as soon as Chris Scott was appointed, it's like, we're winning this flag. This guy is the next great coach. He's exactly the guy that we needed to get in here.
Yep.
And you just knew the blokes were just, they were hungry. And we had the right bloke to just channel those guys and get them to do the bit, you know, he knew that these guys knew how to do the business, and he just had to light the fire and give them that rein and that confidence to say, yep, we're going to do it. And we did it. And
sorry to cut you off.
So my point is, I'm sort of what I'm seeing in Brisbane this year in the games I've watched is that I know how they've been the last 3 years, but I'm feeling that this is a bit of a 2010 Geelong type year. Where it's like, yeah, okay, they're a great side. They're going to be there or thereabouts, but I just feel like they're just not quite. There's just something a bit off with them, and I think we saw that tonight. But one thing I will ask you just before we finish it off, the player that has it, everybody I think wants to discuss that has been discussed. How do we feel about Gryan?
I was going to say something about Gryan. Probably what I expected from him first game back, although there was one moment where he needed to go at the ball and he kind of took a half step. And I think it was probably, he's sort of watching his body language afterwards, just some of his facial expressions. He kind of felt like he didn't trust his knee in that moment, or he kind of felt like, he probably either, I don't know, maybe I read it too much into it, but it was on the wing, and there was a Brisbane bloke coming at him, and he kind of just elected to take a back step and let the Brisbane player get the ball first. Now that might have been strategic, but because I know a lot of clubs are taking that approach now, that don't get to the ball first, be the tackler instead. But I felt like in that moment he probably was just protecting the knee a little bit. So I think we just write this one off as a first game back kind of performance from Gryan. That's the way I looked at it, and I'll probably assess him a little bit more closely in the Sydney game next week. And I'm looking forward to that one. I think it's going to be a great game. What do you think of his game, though?
Yeah, I think tonight was pretty much the same as the rest of his years, but I think
second gear.
He's just a bit off.
Yeah.
He's had he had the hand injury early, and I don't know when this knee thing has bobbed up and everything. He's not right. He looked okay, like he was sore. He looked sore in the VFL last week and sort of got better as he was moving all right as the game went on. But of course, with his ball use and shit at VFL level, he's going to be a class above. I don't think he's right. And, sort of listening to Chris Scott's presser a couple of weeks ago, he's like, well, pretty much we've been told, he'll be all right. I'm not buying any of this. I'm sticking with what I said to Paul a couple of weeks ago. There's a good chance that we're going to, if it all goes wrong, we're going to need a win without him anyway. Sit him down. Let him, you want to run him in the twos, whatever, but let's just get through a few weeks of footy and see where we're at. And if we want to bring him back, just to put some icing on the cake, fine. But my thing is, even if his knee holds up for the rest of the year, he just, as you just pointed out, I don't think he feels confident in it.
One game.
I don't think he's feeling confident in his body right now. And you just saw that most of his executions tonight was just that little bit off all night. And the things that you would normally expect him to do, like you say, it could just be first game back, but it looked fine at VFL. It looked fine at VFL level last week. I just feel like I don't think he feels confident that it'll be all right, just play. I think he's worried about it. And
it feels like he's just been battling through this. This is a year that he's just been battling through. At the risk of jinxing things, and I like to do this, Horatio. I'm gonna allow myself to imagine for a moment that this is going to be one of those grand final stories of 2026. You know how there's always like 4 or 5 stories leading up to a grand final. It's was the Stevie J knee. It's the Joel Selwood's potentially last game. A whole bunch of different things. Maybe this could be the Brian Myers story. We thought his season was done. Somehow he's in a grand final and he's winning a Norm Smith medal. I've jinxed it. I've absolutely jinxed it. But bookmark that one if it comes true. If Brian Myers wins a Norm Smith at the end of all this, wouldn't that be a story for the ages? Wouldn't it be? Won't happen though.
Okay. I'm gonna wrap it up, but let me tell you something. I didn't know this. Right. I didn't know this until, I don't know if you've heard of the Steak Lad. He does a pod. I think he's from Geelong area. He did an interview with Steve Johnson a few months back. Steve Johnson can't even kick a footy with his son anymore because of that knee injury. Like his knees and ankles are so he busted his ankles jumping off, getting pissed and jumping over the fence at that pub in Geelong that time.
Okay,
but that knee injury, like that was it. Like he cannot even kick a footy with his son because his body is that rooted now. Like he can barely move. I was like, God damn it. Now this is the thing that worries me. It's like, this is what I said to Paul. It's like the 12th man with Bruce Reed and the sticky tape. It's like, I'm just like they're talking about all this stuff, and it's like I'm just laughing like Bill Laurie doing the, he might be showing a ton of courage, but he's showing he's got no fucking brains. It's like, dude, you've got a partially torn ACL. Like, that's. I don't care whether you can still play on it. And I think Ethan said, it's like everybody I know that's had that injury, it goes eventually. Like it's gonna go at some point. And I'm just like, what are we trying to prove here? And it's just when I made that comment with Paul a couple of weeks back, I'm like, I was just thinking back to that interview with Steve Johnson. And it's like, these injuries, you know, okay, you want to be a part of premierships, but it's like, at what cost? At what cost? Like,
Yeah, I know.
you know,
You gotta have a life.
and I wonder, like, honestly, like, I'm just gonna say, look, if I was in the position that Steve Jobs was, is where, like, I'm like, God, if I just said, look, my knee's bugging and I can't play, right? But that's going to enable me to sort it out that it's not going to affect my quality of life later. Is that extra premiership worth not being able to kick the footy with my son? Now, for me, it wouldn't have been worth it, right? But each to their own. Now, and you know, when you're in that moment, who's the one to make that call? But that's my thing with Grind at the moment is I just, you know, I'm sorry, but I don't trust anything that comes out from the Geelong fitness or medical fucking crew, because they've told us that many lies over the bloody years, you know, even us as fans. So it's like, you could tell me all this stuff and play funny buggers, but it's like, he doesn't look right to me, and he doesn't look like he's got 100% confidence that there's not going to be problems.
If you could say one thing to Grind Myers, because let's just assume Grind's tuned in after a big win, and he's sitting there, he's just winding down, having a glass of red. Put the YouTube show on, and Grind's, hey Grind, if you're watching, Horatio, I'm going to put you on the big screen. One thing to Grind Myers, please. Give him a message.
I just say, mate, do the Chappie or the Brad Ottens and just sit it out, mate. Sit it out until the last month, a couple of weeks of the season, and come back if you really want to play and you think it's okay, you know, and you're given the all clear, you come back then. Don't do your head in between now and then. Because if we can't do the job without you, if we can't do the job without you, we're not going to do the job with you not feeling 100% confident in your own body. And he didn't look 100% confident in his own body to me tonight. So that's what I would say.
We'll see what happens. Sorry to put you on the big screen there. Hello, Grind, if you're watching. I'm sure all the players just sit around in the hotel room just late at night, can't sleep, and put the Hoops crew on. I'm sure they do. But let's put a pin in this one for tonight, mate. Thanks for coming on again. It's always good to have a nice long chat about not only the game that we just played in, but about footy in general. I know the chat enjoys the loose conversations that we're having as well. And thank you. Oh, now we've got a fan in the background. #fans. And different colour curtains. And you got different curtains, charcoal curtains as well now.
Oh man, I haven't. When I did the curtains tour the other day, I mentioned that I hadn't got around to replacing those. They're bloody horrible. But yeah, no, I do have the old. We do have the old ancient ceiling fan in here.
Beautiful.
But yeah. Anyway, go get some sleep.
I'll get some sleep. I'll do my final thoughts, and then I'll hit the hay. Thanks, mate. We'll catch you on next week.
All right, no worries.
Good on you, buddy. That's me again. All right, where am I? Bang, just in case you don't know who I am. Oh, I'm going to get rid of that scroller. Done. Yeah, so overall, a good win for the Cats. It's been good chatting with the Hoops community tonight, not only the guests that have come on, but the chat as well. It's always fun talking about a Cats win, and also, you know, hopefully we don't have to do it too many times this year, but every now and then we will have a loss. and it is a good place to be after a loss as well. I do miss post-game live when I gave up the hosting reins a while back, but I do miss it. But I also enjoy the sleep as well. So Paul did say in the chat that I'm coming up to about 3 hours on the show. By the time I hit the end stream button and play the AI banger at the end, it'll probably tick over the 3 hours anyway. But yeah, it's another good win for the Catters. 7-3. I probably thought this is around about where we'd be at this point in the year. So things tracking along nicely for another top 4 finish. But as I would like to warn everyone, and probably more just guard my own sort of expectations a little bit as well. It's only the first half of the season, so it's the second half where it all matters. And, it can either, hopefully the Cats will continue and get better and better. But there's also the possibility that, maybe we hit the wall in like other teams have done in years gone by as well, where they've looked great at the start of the year and then just fell away really quickly at the back end. I think Collingwood did that last year, didn't they? So hopefully that's not the case for us. There's still there's a good win tonight. A lot of great things to like about the game. Machine, Bailey, Sean Manor as well, and others. Lawson Humphreys, we've mentioned. Tommy Stewart, of course, as well, but a whole bunch of others as well that probably won't get and haven't got a mention tonight that probably do deserve a mention. And I'm sure Paul and the chaps will cover a lot of these names through the week as well. But a terrific performance from the Catters. Lots of question marks still. Some things to fix up. Some concerns still. Lots that we can take out of this game and review. I don't think the players will go away thinking we've absolutely cracked the code. We've figured it out how to win the premiership, and you may as well give it to us now. I think there's still a lot of things that this club needs to work on and process, and the game will continue to evolve and put new challenges in front of us as we move into the season. And other teams will continue to mount their case for the premiership as well. Like Sydney's not slowing down, and Fremantle still got some questions on Freo, but they've won 8 in a row at the time of this show going live, and potentially that could be 9 in a row after this one as well, after this round. So we're getting to the juicy stage of the AFL season as well, and this is where the teams like Geelong and others really starts to get interesting. It's not quite, it's not finals yet, but this is the fun part of the year. The last 10 weeks or 12 weeks of the season, this is when the good teams stand up and really sort of jostle for those positions in the ladder. I think we're currently, as the live ladder would sit, probably about third. I'm not sure where it'll wash out at the end of round 10, but I imagine we'll be somewhere in the top 4, which is probably where I think if you think of it like a horse race, you probably want to be somewhere around about 4th coming into the straight, something like that. I'm not a big horse racing man, but I kind of like that position where we're at the moment. We've got through this is probably the toughest period of the season for us, arguably. A big challenge tonight overcome in the Brisbane Lions, and I think I wouldn't be, if you're a Brisbane Lions fan watching this channel, I don't think you should be too concerned about the performance. Obviously, from a playing point of view and from a coaching point of view, I don't think you brought your A game. I think they were far off it tonight. I think it might have flattered us a little bit, not to take anything away from Geelong. I think we deserved the win and we played really well, and some absolute champagne football at times. But as I said, some questions I still have as well. And get a yank on the footy as well. So the fixtures come out. To be honest, I haven't even looked at the fixture. I know who we're playing. I don't know when we're playing and all that sort of stuff. So I'll run my eyes over that tomorrow. Just got off the plane at 7 a.m. this morning, so I will rest my head. It's 1:18. I think I have officially ticked over the 3 hours in about 30 seconds time. I'm trying not to waffle too much. I am wrapping up, but just quickly, if you are still with us, and there's about 34 eyes on the sets of eyeballs on the channel still, I will post Paul's reaction video to the game tonight. That'll be posted at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, so make sure you check that one out. And then the chaps will be back on, I think, Monday. Yep, Monday. We'll probably have a twos episode, unless we've already dropped the twos episode early. Jake might have dropped that one a little bit earlier today, but the twos is absolutely killing it. If you haven't caught up on an episode of the twos yet, Jake is doing a great job analysing the VFL team, spotlighting different players each week. We're not, as Jake said on his show, we're not too focused on the team's performance, although we're really happy with the way the team is going in the reserves or the twos. But the focus really of discussion for those shows is on the players themselves. So check that one out. And then we'll have Paul James show back on Thursday. I think the normal time on Thursday, unless, we're not playing Thursday next week. So back on the normal time of Thursday, and I'll be back doing Show Us Your Tips on a Wednesday, hopefully with Kiri live. We didn't do one this week because I was in Bali, and I did think about doing a pre-recorded one, but just didn't get time. And in the end, I enjoyed sitting by the pool drinking bintangs a little too much. So hopefully you'll forgive me there. Anyway, that's me done for tonight. Thanks everyone again. Go you mighty cats, and we'll catch you on the next one. Take care.
It's time for the show. Dropping pussy down facts, mitts, forwards and backs. Representing Tim Tam while talking the smack. Clashing facts like Patty, where the hell you at? Hoops crew are exploding, don't ever look back. Then we got Paul, yeah, he knows his stuff. He's a man, he's a myth, taking on the nuts. The man don't miss, he loves to react. His words cut deep, he's a counterattack. Paul's on fire, brings a mic to life. Don't fuck with P-Dog if you value your life. Oh, they fuck shit up, yeah, they run G-Town. The Hoops crew's here and they'll never back down. Jake, Tommy, Sambo, always rocking the game. Benny and Paul, man, remember the names. In the studio, Jake's bringing the noise. With Johnny and Sambo, the chaps chat boys, they're electric and they're ready to roll. The boys are on fire and they're taking control. Recaps and previews, yeah, they cover it all. Part of the Hoops crew with Betty and Paul. They fuck shit up, yeah, they run G-Town. The Hoops crew, baby, they'll never back down. Jake, Johnny, Sambo, always rocking the game. Benny and Paul, chasing glory and fame. Brad with the sleeves, Max Holmes and Jack Bose. Tommy fucking Atkins, he'll break your damn nose. Stewie in the middle, and Reese in the ruck. They see Big Jezza and they know they're fucked. They're the T-Town boys, go hard or go home. They're fucking insane, taking over